Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
The master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We're on episode 103. It is Sunday night, September the 23rd. I'm joined again with my co-host, the Anti-Cool. What's going on, man?
Off the top, because not that I could ever forget, but rest in peace, one Kid Yamamoto. That one hit hard.
Yeah, I'll save that for a second, because I'll have a little mini speech. Yeah, 'cause that definitely kind of like messed my day up. But before we get to that, on a lighter note. Gotta get shameless plugs. You guys, of course, can always listen to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please rate, subscribe, and leave a review. You can also listen to us on Google Play. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. And you can hit me up on Twitter @SerialSensei. And shout outs to all of the Twitter followers and all of the Tumblr fans. Appreciate you guys always for listening. I'm in pretty good spirits. I'm on vacation from work, so that started on Friday. I have 2 weeks of freedom to run around and do whatever I want for 2 weeks.
Get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, well, the weather is not lending itself for my plans, but it's cool. I've been going out, eating a lot. Had myself a nice little T-bone steak earlier today. I also spilled my orange juice. It was one of the most embarrassing things I think I've ever done. Like, I went out to eat with my little brother. You know, I always tell the little brother, like, hey, watch this, don't do that. You're going to spill this. And then I just spill my orange juice everywhere. Like, I went to, like, sit the cup down. And, like, I wasn't, like, looking at it while I was trying to sit it down. Because I was, like, trying to eat at the same time. And it, like, it hit the side of the plate. And it just tipped over. And orange juice everywhere.
Damn. I mean, at least you get that nice citrus smell.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And the person in the booth across from me gave me some paper towels, so we got it cleaned up. It was fine. The food was good. That's all that mattered. Who cares about the orange juice? But yeah, so that happened. And with me being on vacation, you guys will probably be hearing a lot from me. I've already written like 2 album reviews today. We got this podcast. Well, you guys will be listening to this, obviously, but I plan on putting out a lot of stuff while I'm on vacation. I have nothing but time on my hands, so you'll be hearing a lot from me. Top cities for the week: Bronx, New York, coming in at number 1. Number 2, is it Ocala, Florida? I never know how to pronounce this.
Where?
Ocala, Florida.
Ocala. That's what it sounds like, Ocala.
Yeah, we'll say Ocala. We'll say that. Los Angeles, California, Newark, New Jersey, and coming in at number 5, Mountain View, California. So shout out to you guys for the listens. Definitely appreciate it. So yeah, before we get into news and notes, we'll start off on a somber note, and yeah. So I think we mentioned it last podcast that it had broke that Kid Yamamoto had cancer.
Yeah.
And like not even like 2 days. It was a couple of days after we recorded that. I think I like randomly woke up in the middle of the night, and I just happened to like check my Twitter feed, and I saw it at like 4 in the morning that he had passed, and he apparently had I think he had stomach cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Yeah. So yeah, he's actually been battling this for a while, but like just now, he just now like kind of put it out there, and then yeah, unfortunately, man, he passed. I'll say it was great to see like the outpouring, just of love and everybody who had been fans. I saw a lot of people post stories. BJ Penn had made a post about him because apparently he was making trips over to drawing a blank, but he made a nice post about him. That's more of the story. Yeah, a lot of people I saw just showing love, showing respect. It definitely kind of just messed my day up. Kid was, for me, one of those guys that like literally when I first started getting into MMA, and this is like back in the early days when I didn't even really know people's names. I just I was just watching fights. They just kind of just watch fights, and I didn't really know all was what was going on. But a lot of the earlier fighters that I watched were the Japanese fighters, because I don't know, those guys were just awesome. And anytime I got a chance to watch one of them fight, I watched, and I was always thoroughly entertained. And Kid was one of those guys way back when, like before this sport was super popular, before it was all over TV, and now about to be on ESPN and all that kind of stuff. Like, he was one of those guys who I'd been watching for a long time, and it was always crazy to watch him fight, man. He fought at lightweight, but really realistically, he probably was like I would say probably like a bantamweight, maybe even a flyweight, but those divisions didn't exist back then. So you got this guy who's probably fighting a weight class or two above his natural weight, and he's just flatlining. He's just flatlining dudes that are way bigger than he is. Yeah, man, I loved watching Kid fight. I saw a lot of people who were doing their homework. Maybe people who did not watch Kid back then. If you did not get a chance to see Kid in his prime years, dude actually had a wrestling background, but did a lot of standing and banging and sending people to the nether realm with his hands. Yeah, if you never got a chance to watch Kid fight, lots of signature moments, man. Of course, the 4-second flying knee is probably one of his most famous highlights. The Hoyler Gracie KO, the Caleb Mitchell KO. He had a good scrapper, Ronnie Yaha. He had a good fight with is it Bibiano?
Yeah.
Fernandez. He fought Genki Sudo. He has a nice laundry list of fights.
He fought Masato and knocked him down in kickboxing.
Yeah.
And that fight, it was watched by like a third of the population of Japan. Literally a third. It was like 35, 34 million people.
Yeah, this dude was. It was kind of bittersweet seeing him in the UFC because I was a big fan, but you kind of knew like his prime years had kind of passed, and I just always envisioned, and I didn't know this when obviously when he passed, man. I just went back and just started watching a lot of his fights just to reminisce, all that good stuff. I didn't know that at one point he was supposed to have fought Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. And
I want to say that was going to be his first fight in the UFC, or not the WEC or the UFC. No, the UFC.
Yeah, no. I think it was WEC.
Oh,
I
really?
think it was WEC. Yeah, it was before the UFC, and that fight got scrapped, and then he ended up fighting.
No, he was supposed to fight in Dream 5 against Joseph Benavidez, but the bout was called off 3 days before the event because of a knee injury that Kid suffered.
Yeah, and I think his next fight after that was like Kiko Lopez.
It was Joe Warren.
Okay, it was Joe Warren. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's the knee injury that took Prime Kid away.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and then at that time, the Joe Warren was like a really big upset because Joe Warren was, I think, relatively new to the scene because he lost a split decision in that fight.
Dude, that win launched Joe Warren's career.
Yeah, but I mean, in hindsight, Joe Warren became Joe Warren.
Right.
So, regardless of how you feel for him or feel about him, Warren had a really great career. and turned out to be a really, really talented fighter. But yeah, man, Kid was just a really super athletic, crazy explosive, always entertaining, and like I said, it's crazy to think that at a point in time, the lighter weight classes did not get as much love as they do now.
Well, at least here.
Yeah, well, yeah. At least here they didn't. But he was an early pioneer. He was an early face to put for the lighter weight classes. Like when you thought of like 155 and the little guys, quote unquote, like he's one of those faces that you think of. And literally, if you ask a lot of the people who are bantamweights, featherweights now, who they looked up to when they were first fighting, a lot of them will name Kid as an influence because he was just one of those guys that's just.
Y'all want to know like how, just like how influential and big like Kid was in the sport? When the UFC officially absorbed the WEC bantamweight and featherweight roster, who was the first fighter Dana White came out and said, I want to sign that guy? Not just that, he came to the presser with a Fight magazine cover with Kid Yamamoto's face on it. He's like, I want that guy. Like, it sucks that like that knee injury he suffered before the Benavidez fight basically ruined his career.
Yeah.
He was never the same again after that. He won one fight. Like, yeah, 10 years ago, like a knee injury it was really a career ender.
No.
Unless you were like at the very, very high end of the earning scale. And even then, it was like nowadays, like dudes bounce back from knee injuries all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, we lost a great one. It sucks. And I saw man, it hurt me so bad. But it was kind of awesome to see. There was an interview I saw. This was way back in like 2000, I think 11, and he was telling people in 2011, 2012 that Kyoji Horiguchi was gonna be that next guy. Like there's an interview of him. I don't remember who did the interview, but yeah, like he was just giving Horiguchi props, and this was like a super young.
Oh yeah, dude. This was back when I remember this because this was back when I was posting on Sherdog. Some dude who trained at not AT&T, Alliance. Kid was training for his UFC debut over at Alliance, and the dude was talking about, oh yeah, he brought this young kid with him. He's like a teenager. And he like for his warm up, he just sat there and cranked out like 200 push-ups in a minute. And that was Kyoji Horiguchi.
Man, and now look at what Horiguchi's doing now. Like, yeah.
Like, Mayu Yamaguchi and Kyoji Horiguchi have a fight coming up this Sunday. If you listen to it, immediately if this episode, the day it comes out, September 30th. I can't even imagine the feeling, like just the feelings and what they're like, where their minds are at.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
Like Mayu is fighting a woman who already beat her, I think. Horiguchi is going into kickboxing and fighting Tenshin Nasukawa, and then and to have this just on your mind the entire time wow.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's words can't even describe. But yeah, man, rest in peace, Kid Yamamoto. Like that, this one really, really, really stung. But if you guys aren't familiar, man, a lot of his fights are on YouTube. Go watch his fights in Shudo, his fights in Dream. Like I said, Hoyler Gracie KO, the Flying Knee. All of his best work is pretty much on YouTube. So if you weren't familiar with him, I would definitely encourage you to go back and just watch how just crazy talented and explosive this guy was, and just how he was literal one punch knockout power for a guy his size. It's fighting dudes who are pretty bigger than him.
20, 30 pounds bigger than him.
Right, and he is knocking heads off like it's nothing.
I can't stress this enough. He fought like Masato. It was his second kickboxing fight ever. He's one of the best lightweight kickboxers of all time. And Kid managed to put him down in the first round.
Yeah, man.
Masato eventually came back and won the fight, but nobody remembers that. They just remember Kid putting him on his ass.
Dude was a warrior in every sense of the word, man. And there's a part of me just like an alternate reality, like, man, if he could have been in the WEC and that knee injury would have never happened, and we could have got like,
dude, that's one of the greatest fights that never happened. Kid Yamamoto, Uriah Faber.
Faber, yep. Could have got Kid and Faber. Oh man.
Kid Aldo.
Kid, that whole like bantamweight division that they had.
Bantamweight, featherweight.
Yeah, he could have been in all of those.
Dude, Prime Kid versus Dominic Cruz.
And it's crazy, like people just forget that he could wrestle because he was so busy just flatlining people. But dude was a really good wrestler.
Dude was a wrestler first, like
yeah.
When he eventually left Shudo, but for a good while, his bread and butter was literally just putting guys on the mat and then beating the ever-living shit out of them from the top.
Oh, God, I cannot remember the guy he fought. There was a KO. He had, he took the dude down. I think he was, like, back against, like, the ropes. And he unleashes just some, it looks like heavyweight ground and pound. Like, a guy his size should not have been able to generate, like, that much force.
Yeah. No, Dude was unreal.
Yeah, he was a special talent, man. But yeah, man. R.I.P. Kid Yamamoto. Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar, just go do some Googles, go watch some YouTube videos, and just watch him just send people to the next world with the power that he had. But yeah, awesome fighter, man. Really gonna miss that guy. But all right, now that we got that out the way, we'll move on to news, notes, things that happened. So I'm gonna blaze through these real quick, and then we're gonna come back to one that we just have to talk about. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna skip that one. I'm not even gonna. I'll save that for last. I'll just skip over it.
All right.
But other news and notes and fight announcements that have happened. One of the big ones, Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko will be meeting at UFC 231 for the vacant flyweight title. All right, so my notes are kind of mixed, so I apologize, guys. It's going to be kind of all over the place. But that'll be going down. KSW flyweight champ Ariane Lipski will be making her Octagon debut at UFC Fight Night Buenos Aires as a replacement for Veronica Macedo. She will be fighting Marina Moroz. At UFC 229, we have Vicente Luque and Jalen Turner. In injury news, Tyron Woodley will be out for 8 to 12 weeks due to a hand surgery. Gokhan Saki verbally wants to fight Mark Hunt in what I presume would be Mark Hunt's retirement fight.
It would not be his retirement fight. It would be his last fight in the UFC.
Okay.
He would probably just go back to Japan.
That is true. Yeah, at UFC Adelaide. And if people are thinking, why would Saki fight Mark Hunt, who's a heavyweight? If you know Saki's combat career and glory, he was always a small heavyweight, and he always fought dudes who were considerably bigger than him.
I just want Saki to come out and hit a takedown.
Saki via triangle.
Top side triangle.
Right. But we'll see if that happens. That would be awesome. I wouldn't be mad at that fight. Greg Hardy's back, fighting Ray Jones at Extreme Fight Night 353 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This will be streamed on UFC Fight Pass if you care to watch. But, yeah. In Bellator news, Chidi Njokuani and Melvin Manhoef will be headlining Bellator 210. Also in Bellator news, Alexander Shlemenko will be taking on Anatoly Tokov at Bellator 208. On the Bellator Hawaii card, we have King Mo versus Liam McGeary. Did those two fight already?
It feels like a fight that's happened.
I feel like it did too.
Like King Mo's fought basically every light heavyweight that's not in the UFC at this point.
Right. I feel like that happened. I can't remember, but either way, that'll be going down on the Hawaii card. Eric Perez will be taking on John Castaneda in Combate America, Mexico versus USA on October 13th. And in boxing news, the big one: Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, December 1st. Shenanigans.
That one's gonna be in LA.
Oh, the Deontay?
Yes. Like I can't. Oh my god. I can't like this presser or whatever media they do is going to be a mess. It's going to be a horrific. Like for those who don't know Tyson Fury, he is. What's the nice way to put this? Got batshit insane. like I don't even know where to begin with like the anti-Semitic shit he says, the homophobic shit he says, the wild conspiracy theories he throws out on Twitter when he's like high on cocaine, or the fact that he dressed up as Batman when he and fought a make-believe Joker at his press conference for the Vladimir Klitschko fight.
Oh man, I did not know that. That is, hold on, let me do some Googles.
It is quite literally, or the fact that he was like Dr. fucking Eggman.
That's the costume we need. Oh, this Batman is great. What? Oh, this guy is out of control.
Like, I have a photo of him hopping the desk, and you can see his promoter.
Yeah,
to the
I'm looking at this still.
You can see Adam Smith just right there. He's just like, "What the fuck is happening?" And then you look down the bench, and there's like, what is that? Rory. And he's just like, "Oh my god!" "Oh my god."
This is out of control. Oh man, yeah, that fight is gonna be
This is like a fight that could only happen at heavyweight.
Right.
These are personalities that could only survive in the absurd division in combat sports.
And it's like, because it's heavyweight, like it's pure shenanigans, but you just kind of accept it because like this is heavyweight. This is what. This is
what happens when you hit like a freaking train.
Yeah, you can just do stuff like this. But
Like,
man,
I
yeah,
can't imagine Sean Porter or like Danny Garcia showing up to a fucking presser in a Batman costume.
Him jumping over the desk.
And then jumping over the desk to beat up his training partner.
Oh man.
Al Heyman would have a fucking heart
attack. Oh, I should use that as like the picture for this episode. Oh man, yeah. If you guys haven't seen that picture, that is some work. That is. But yeah, December 1st, man. Mark your calendars.
Bit of an update. That McGeary fight never happened. It was supposed to happen last October, but King Mo got hurt.
Ah, okay. Actually, shout out to Lima Lake McFarland, who has a day named after her, which I think is going to be the day of that card.
She's been killing it. Like, you follow her on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Like, she is all over the place in Hawaii trying to sell this fight. She was on the big news station there. She went to the University of Hawaii's like opening football game and was just like throwing out T-shirts at the crowd. Like, she is like on all the radio stations, and she's really actually trying to sell the fight. So props to her.
Yeah, man. Props to her. And that should be a fun fight too. Her and the Eternal. That should be an interesting scrap. All right, before we get to the big one, you want to throw any thoughts on Joanna and Valentina? Any predictions?
Valentina by dull-ish wrestling, clinch fighting. Dullish clinch fighting.
Yeah, I have a nagging suspicion that this fight is not going to go the way we hope it will.
I mean, I'm fine with it because it's a fight between like two high level fighters. I know what I'm getting into. And if they overperform, you know,
It makes it that much better.
it makes it that much better.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going into this with like this is exactly how I went into the Floyd Pacquiao fight, the first one. Now that we're getting a second one, I was just like, okay, I know what this fight's gonna be. I'm gonna try and enjoy it for what it is, and I'm not gonna come in with any notions of like, okay, this is gonna be an all-out war, just non-stop action. I know what this is. I know these fighters. I know I've seen them fight before. But in all fairness, something that a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about the first 3 fights they had in Muay Thai. Valentina Shevchenko was well into her career, and like Joanna Jędrzejczyk was basically just starting out. Like she had been in the game for a little bit, but she was not like she was nowhere near as as experienced. So just something to keep in mind.
I'm gonna go Joanna. And really close. I think it'll be one of those fights that like there'll be small spurts of violence here and there, but it won't be violent all the way throughout. And Joanna ekes out a split decision, and we probably end up with like a trilogy out of this fight somehow.
And that's just what this division needs to kick it off until somebody comes along and, you know, who actually can hang with like Joanna and Valentina. Like,
Poor Nico, she's probably never gonna get a title shot ever again.
Probably not. She might never fight in the UFC ever again.
Yeah. that fight that'll be fun. Definitely one to mark on the calendar. All right, time to address the elephant in the room. Oh, when I saw this flash across my screen, this Johnny's back. Mr. Bones, Mr. Jon Jones is
Johnny Bones is home.
Yeah, he's here. So
okay, so when the news broke, I wasn't exactly surprised, but when all the extra information started coming out about why his suspension got cut, I laughed for like 30 minutes straight, just nonstop, and I was literally in tears. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, this was so crazy that I wasn't even mad at it. So if you guys don't know, well, I'm pretty sure you do, but in case you don't, Jones is all but officially back. He can pretty much resume fighting as of October 28th, which conveniently would give him a slot to get in on UFC 230 if there happens to be a secret fight lined up that we don't know about. So from what I've gathered and seen about his hearing, so his sentence was reduced by like 15 months, something wild like that.
So it was originally cut to 18 months. But I don't know what. It was cut to like 18 months. Something happened, and then it was cut to 15 months. So that conveniently, he would be available for UFC 230.
Yeah. So the arbitrator, who I guess is some third-party independent person, I guess, apparently said that they don't believe that Jones was quote-unquote intentionally cheating. So I guess that factored into his sentence being reduced. And then was there also is the snitching thing true? I think that's a part of his.
So USADA does have it's not called stipulation, like a bylaw, where if you help if you do help USADA to catch other users or distributors, and it leads to a case, they will lower your sentence. As far as I know, the only evidence we have is a piece of I don't know if it was a statement or if it was like a like an official record that somebody managed to get their hands on. But they did say that Jon Jones was showing compliance with USADA on certain matters, non-specific matters, as far as I can tell. But the way it comes across is Jon Jones basically snitched on somebody to get his sentence reduced.
Oh man, if he is indeed snitching on people, I'm waiting to see the aftermath.
Okay.
I want to see who's going down.
I have the USADA article right here. So it's Article 10611. Mr. Jones is under continuing duty of cooperation in relation to his substantial assistance, and USADA reserves the right, in USADA's sole discretion, to reinstate any part of his 30-month reduction in the event that Mr. Jones fails to cooperate and/or to provide the complete and credible substantial assistance upon which the suspension of a part of his period of ineligibility is based. So, USADA 10611. But if this is true, it basically means Jon Jones is the first fighter to ever use the stipulation to reduce his sentence.
Hey man, he's adding to his historic.
So
historic
I'm looking at it now. This is indeed the snitch clause.
Oh yeah.
So Rashad was right.
Hey man, Jones said it himself in one of those interviews. He said, "I was the guy in school who told on the people who smoked weed or whatever."
Despite the fact that Jon Jones was probably like doing cocaine right next to them.
Yeah, he was definitely in the he was in the circle. But yeah, man. So somebody's going down.
In all fairness, it might not be another fighter. It could be just the dude who is pushing the drugs.
I'd imagine it's.
But
I don't know if you saw, like, he's sponsored by like one of those nutritional companies or something, and those guys look pretty. I mean, I'm not trying to throw accusations, but you know, I can only go by what my eyes are showing me.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying, man. There are only so many reps you can do in the gym before we start using alternative methods.
You gotta get those extra reps in.
Yeah, but, so that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of people were I saw on Twitter were outraged, quote unquote. But listen, man, like
when you are a star,
yeah, this happens.
Well, it's not even that. Let's be real here. Like Jon Jones is never going to be suspended for 30 months. Are you out your fucking mind?
All right. Like
Jon Jones could murder a man, and the UFC would let him back in the day after he got out of jail.
I was gonna say, like, this isn't shocking to me at all, because as somebody who's just a sports fan in general, like, you see this, like, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. You know how many criminals we've had in our organization,
dude,
who were more than welcome to come back like multiple times.
Shouts to Greg Hardy.
Like Greg Hardy,
dude, Greg Hardy got all but sentenced. Like, the only reason he is not in jail is because his ex-girlfriend didn't show up in court, and the Dallas Cowboys took him back for another full season.
Yeah, like this is just one of those things in sports that, like, it unfortunately, it is what it is. Like, dudes who have that kind of pull can just, unfortunately, they can just kind of walk on water. Like,
well, that, and just like you can, like, there was some stuff with like, I'm not trying to, like, there was some weird stuff with Jones, not so much with his tests, but with, like, the drug he tested positive for. If I remember right, it's like a weird drug, like
It was a testosterone blocker, I think, or estrogen blocker.
I think it was like a testosterone blocker.
Something like that.
But it's weird. Like there's evidence that it shows up in things it's not supposed to be in, like we said, like nutritional stuff. Which isn't an excuse. You're supposed to get that shit tested, beforehand. And Jones knows that because this is the second time it's happened to him. But like, there's some weird science stuff that I read back when this came out that I don't remember, and it was just okay. There is a chance that this was on purpose.
No.
Which I guess counts for something. Like you need motive. You need to be actively cheating.
And even I said I did it on our hot take on our mailbag episode that even I thought it was weird that like he passed his pre-fight one and then like 2 days later he fails the.
Well, I never looked into this because the drug he tested positive for only shows up in blood test. If you pee in a cup, it won't show up in it.
Nah, so yeah, we don't know if the pre-fight one was a.
So I'm thinking that they're not drawing blood like the day before a fight.
Fight, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know like what the timetable is for all that type of stuff because from what I remember, USADA's supposed to be doing blood tests. Like I'm not sure if they're doing it like the day after the fight or like they're going up to the guy after the fight and they're like already cut open and just like scooping it off his face or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But either way, man, none of you guys should be surprised. This sport is we've seen what it's kind of spiraling into. This isn't the least bit surprising. Whether it's right or wrong, who knows?
I mean, let's be real. Drug testing is not. No one cares. No one really cares. Like, look at the freaking WADA just reinstated Russia back into like international competition with like for no reason.
Oh man. Well, so I have two questions, and one of these I stole from Twitter. And I don't remember who posted it, so I can't give you credit. I'm sorry. Two questions. First question is how long is Bones back before another incident happens and we lose him again for some unspecified amount of time? And in that small window that we may have him back, who do we want to see him fight?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it till 2019. I don't know when in 2019, but Jon Jones will do something stupid and be back in the hot seat by the end of the year. While he's back, I would love to see him fight Gus again because apparently Jon Jones doesn't want to move up. Or should I say Daniel Cormier doesn't want to fight him anymore. So yeah, if he's going to be back, he's only going to be back for a short time. I'd like to see him fight Gus. I'd like to see him fight Stipe. If he wants to go up to heavyweight. I'd love to see him fight Volkov just for the hell of it. Because that'd be funny. Like Jon Jones, for the first time in his career, fights somebody who's just taller than him.
Oh man.
I mean, I'd love to see him fight Yoel Romero. Give me that.
Should they just give him freak fights?
Like
squeeze all of the freak fights out of him that you can before he crashes another car? Or...
like the only freak fight at those weights is like Lesnar, and he already has he's fighting for the title, so like who do you give him? Like they got rid of Chuck, so they can't do that, and they had heat.
Lord. Thank God Chuck got away.
Yes, well, if Chuck wins, they can run it back. Their argument could be that Tito fought for the Bellator light heavyweight title like 2 years ago, and Chuck beat him, so he's fine.
Oh boy,
every time I think of Chuck, I think of like that video you sent me. Or was it?
That's where you don't.
Was it
pads?
The one of him hitting the pads.
Oh my God, I want to believe that was just like they just threw that out there to make us think he can't like go anymore.
I don't think Chuck has like the mental capacity to do that anymore.
But
all the brain damage, like I don't think he's that clever anymore.
Guys, if you didn't see that clip, like he threw the oldest kick.
Dude, there are geriatrics who I used to train with. who threw more fluid kicks and punches than Chuck Liddell did in that Jake Glazer clip.
He had to use all of his old man strength, every fiber of his body, to get his leg to lift like 3 inches off the ground. It was it was something. But yeah, I want to see Jones. If Jones can fight Gus again, at that point, I'm just content with anything else after that. As long as he fights Gus again, I don't care what happens after that. Give me my Gus fight, and I will shut up and be quiet.
Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou.
Why not? You know what though? I have a nagging suspicion. Let's say Jones come back, fights Gus, maybe wins. Boy, if by some miracle Brock Lesnar beats DC, you know they're doing Jones Lesnar.
Oh yeah, that's not a question. They were going to do Jones Lesnar this year, but Lesnar popped at UFC 200, so
Yeah.
they had to wait.
So just keep that fight, you guys, on the back of your mind. If Jones manages to keep his nose clean, no pun intended.
That was totally on purpose.
For like the next 2 years, that is a potential fight. Yeah, I feel like even if Lesnar loses, that could still end up being a thing.
I don't think cocaine is a performance-enhancing drug. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong. Like if you've ever seen a cokehead, you know what they're capable of. But like I don't think USADA's gonna bust him unless he's like unless he just snorts a line like while he's walking to the cage. So it should be fine.
I hope. But in all seriousness, I hope this dude can stay clean. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up at all. Like I said, give me the Gus fight, and if you want to go crash another car or fail another test after that, be my guest. But just give me the Gus fight. That's all I want.
Please don't crash into another person, though.
Huh?
Please don't crash into another person, though.
Yeah, you know, hit like a light pole or something.
Another telephone pole.
Yeah, just don't hit anybody else. But we'll see. I do love watching Jones fight though. So like part of me is really excited because I really love watching this guy fight. But he's such a screw up that it's just the moments are so bittersweet. It's like I remember the Cormier fight. Like I went to a fight party and we were screaming when Jones landed the head kick, and it was a really good time. But then that moment just sits in after that fight, and you're like, is he gonna pop or something after this? And
is he gonna fucking just like plow his car through like the Albuquerque Police Department building?
Right. So it's like watching Jones fight is so literally just one of the most talented dudes I've ever seen. But you just in the back of your mind, you're just like, when am I gonna get that headline? And he just screws up again.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I don't want to bet on people's misfortune or anything, but I'm almost convinced we're gonna get like a one day wake up to like a Tiger Woods type story, where he got chased out of his own house by his wife. And he just ran into like a fire hydrant like at the end of his block.
Jones, please.
And that starts to like the complete spiraling of Jones' career. He never wins a fight again. He starts losing. He has to fight in like gladiator fight. Like,
if Jon Jones ends up in Bellator, I don't know if I'm watching MMA anymore. If I see Jon Jones versus Liam McGeary, I'm out of here.
Like Jon Jones is like the opener for like Brent Primus.
Oh man, but Jones, man, please, just train, fight, and go home. Just all you, just please, train, fight, go home. Don't do anything else.
Go pick up a hobby that isn't like.
All right, learn like how to play chess or I don't know.
Go play paintball.
No, that's too violent. He'll find a way to get in trouble with that.
At least it's not partying his ass off.
Become a gamer. Play Minecraft or something. I don't know.
He just never shows up. If it's a fight because he's just stuck playing Minecraft.
I'll take that over you crashing to a pole. Oh man, but yeah, Jon Jones is back. Watch out. Something we'll see. I'm convinced he'll be at UFC 230 despite what Dana's saying, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Oh my god! Like I just want them to keep it a surprise. Don't tell nobody what the main event is.
But yeah, man, that's all the news and notes.
Batista versus Jon Jones.
No.
Hey, Batista
I
has a winning record unlike CM Punk.
I saw the Batista. What was that Lucero?
Yes.
Oh boy, that was a rough one.
That was a CSC classic.
That was a hard fight.
I'm sorry, a CES classic. Much in the same vein as Kimbo Slice vs. Ray Mercer. That was Cage Fury.
I did not know Batista was in CES. I didn't know that
was a CES card. I think that's the card that got them eventually on like AXX or AXS TV access.
God. Well, we'll monitor all of these situations. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun podcast. We got a lot to talk about.
That was just started.
Right. that was just news. We got a lot of fights to go into. So since I'm the only one who saw this, I will briefly run through one championship, Conquest of Heroes. I won't spend a ton on here. But that card went down on that was really, really early Saturday morning. I actually literally woke up and got the notification and just started watching while I was laying in bed. That card was headlined by Joshua Vs taking on Naito Yoshitaka for the strawweight championship. Ironically, the main event is the fight I actually missed on this card, but congrats to Pacio, who is now the new champ. He won via unanimous decision, went all 5 rounds. Also on the card, we had Yu Wen Peng versus Steffer Rahardian, if I'm saying that correct. Yu Wen Peng won by decision. A fight that I was excited to see. Rodtang Jit Moynihan, I'm probably pronouncing that all wrong. In the one kickboxing fight that was on this card, took on Sergio Wilson. If you don't know Rodtang, this was the gentleman who fought Tension, and what I believe is one of the best fights this year. He came into one. He gave Sergio what we call the business. He gave him one of the meanest stanky legs I've ever seen. Dude is a savage, like an absolute savage. And I like that one puts on like these Muay Thai bouts, so they're always pretty fun to watch. So shout outs to Rodtang, man. Go watch that fight if you haven't. That dude is a phenomenal fighter. Danny Kingad and Yuya Wakamatsu had a pretty awesome fight. Kingad won by decision, and Timothy, I'm really mad I did not get a chance to watch this fight, but man, apologize, I'm gonna butcher both these names. Saigid Gusian Arslaniev and Timothy Nachukin. Timothy caught some hands in round 1 and got KO'd for his troubles, unfortunately. But another cold knockout on this card, man. Kiyomi Matsushima and Marat Gafarov. If you watch one, you know Gafarov is pretty much like a staple in one. He's been one of their best fighters, I would say, for the past few years, at least that I've seen. I want to say this was Matsushima's debut, and Gafarov rushed in for a takedown, and he ate. I can't remember if it was an uppercut. Either way, he got put to sleep. It was very reminiscent of his loss to win. Shout outs to Matsushima. That's a great win for a debut against pretty much one of one's elite fighters, and he knocked him out cold. Other fights on this card I did not get a chance to watch, but just wanted to give it notice. It was definitely worth watching. And if you guys don't have the One Championship app, download it. It's awesome. You can watch the cards for free, and they post fights periodically here and there. So download that app if you haven't. Go watch that card. Go watch that fight. Pretty awesome. All right. Do we want to go with the Joshua fight first, and then we'll go to Bellator?
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you handle the Joshua since you're the boxing aficionado out of us.
That is a That is wrongly applied title. God, because like this and the Golovkin fight were like the first fights I've watched, the boxing matches I've watched all summer. Just haven't had the time. But yeah, no, the Joshua fight. Fun competitive fight. Actually, a lot of people had Povetkin up rounds. When I was on Twitter last night, I think Joey had him up too. When before he eventually got caught with a really short right hand, like from the chamber, literally just a flick of the wrist right hand that rocked him, put him on like skates. Joshua pounces, hits him with a left hook that just completely separates him from like reality. Puts him on the ground. He gets up because he's tough as. Which, by the way, he gets up. He gets knocked down in the corner in the 7th round. His cornerman reached through the ropes and tried to push him up, so he'll stand up.
I didn't notice that.
Which is completely illegal. But it reminded me of do you remember the 4th Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao fight?
Is that the one where Manny died?
Yes.
Oh Lord.
If you look at any stills of that photo where that fight where Pacquiao's like laying face down after he's been knocked out, you'll see an elderly white man at ringside trying to give him his energy through his hands so that he can rise up and continue fighting.
You ain't saving him from that one, bro.
But that's what Povetkin's cornerman reminded me of. To their credit, though, once he got up and Joshua just battered him immediately after the 9 count, the 8 count, my bad. They were right up on the apron telling the referee to stop the fight. Good win for Joshua. This is the first time he's probably fought anybody with like Povetkin's build. Anybody who doesn't follow boxing, Povetkin's a really small heavyweight. I think he came into this fight at like 220, 222, something like that. He's really short. His game is basically I'm going to leap, I'm going to make myself as small as possible and then explode into you with like these big winding hooks and overhand rights and uppercuts. And that it really messed up Joshua. He actually got rocked pretty hard. Well, not hard.
Yeah, that was a nice like little 3-piece.
Yeah.
He caught him with in the end of the first.
The jab uppercut hook combo that had, I think he was more stumbled than like shook.
Yeah, he wasn't like rocked, but he gave him. It was one of those like, oh.
It was like it's a thing that doesn't really often happen to Joshua because he's so big and so long. He doesn't normally get touched with those types of punches. So I imagine it shook him up a little bit on the inside. He was much more patient as the fight went on. You know what I loved? And freaking Sergio Mora didn't give him credit for it until like right before the knockout on commentary. Like Joshua was just investing in the body the entire fight. Just jab to the body, jab to the body, jab to the body. And it's the thing that opened up the short right hand that went over Povetkin's guard because he dropped his hands to guard the body because I guess he thought another punch was going there. Just really good good work by Joshua, not getting too rattled. Like I can't imagine just continually fighting in front of like 80,000 people gets any easier, right?
All right.
Like that has to wear on your mind every time you're out there. So he's dealing with the pressure as well as he possibly can be expected to.
Yeah, I only got a chance to watch the fight once, but I watched it and I don't remember, like I don't have like round by round scoring, but I do remember thinking about halfway through the fight that I had Povetkin up. Like I say, at the end of the first, he had that really nice combination that he landed that kind of shook Joshua up a little bit. Yeah, Joshua was really persistent with the jab. I think Povetkin was landing a bit more of the power shots. He was more of the aggressor. I remember just thinking the whole fight, like, all right, when is Joshua gonna...
He looked kind of lethargic.
Yeah, like he was it was like he was just like he was just kind of coasting out there. Like I don't know. Like there was no. He never really looked urgent, and I was like I know like we're in like round 6, dude. Like you got to know.
Like,
You know, might be time to put a little gas on the pedal.
see, I'm of two minds about it. Like, one of the things Deontay Wilder does is he will be down, like, and you saw this when he came back off of, like, I think it was elbow surgery. He was down like 4 rounds to 0 to like Gerald Washington of all people, who is a fine journeyman, but yeah, he's not a dude who should be pushing or taking rounds off the world heavyweight champion. And then all of a sudden the fight was over because Wilder was like, "Oh, I found the home for my right hand," and he landed one right hand, and then the rest is history. Like I'm curious. Okay, if Joshua was like, okay, he's going to come leaping in with those hooks and uppercuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep touching him to the body, touching him to the chest. And eventually, I'm going to find a home for that right hand because he will think that's the only thing I'm looking for. The other option is he thought he was winning all those rounds. And that it didn't really matter, which is a much more dangerous,
Yeah.
thought process.
You never want to, especially if it's not like he was dominating any facet of the fight, so you never want to go and have that thought in your head that I'm winning this definitely.
And if we're being real, he probably was, because you're not winning a decision off of Anthony Joshua in the UK. If you're taking the belt from him, you're taking it off him by knocking him out.
Well, he definitely I got my questions answered. That 7th round. It's kind of crazy because, like I said, he looked just kind of lethargic in those first couple rounds, and then just out of nowhere, it's almost scary that the fight turned around that quick. Like it literally just took one punch.
Yeah, but we're not really even in heavyweight. We're really not used to that in boxing, are we? Like even at those bigger weights, these guys tend to be like defensively a lot better than the guys who fight in the UFC, who we're used to seeing all the time.
Yeah, it was a great it was a great right hook. You gotta feel bad for Povetkin. Like he was putting on a pretty good performance, and then it just gets erased. And like one flurry, and all of your hard work and all those good rounds you put in just kind of don't mean anything anymore. It's all over.
That's the big boy weight class, bro.
Yep, that is life. At heavyweight in any combat sport, it just takes one.
Yep, and I don't know if I mentioned this. That was the first time Povetkin's ever been knocked out, or stopped, I should say, in his pro career. I don't know about his amateur one, but he's been there with some pretty good dudes. Like he fought Vladimir Klitschko, or did he fight Vitaly? No, he fought Vlad. So,
well, we'll see. Joshua did what he needed to do. Very impressive KO.
It's also worth just because I'm not sure how familiar people are with boxing. Povetkin is at worst like the 4th best heavyweight on the planet. Like it's Joshua, Wilder, and maybe Fury, depending on what type of shape he's in. But like Povetkin's right there.
Well, we'll see. This will eventually lead, I would think, to either Joshua and I think I saw a headline earlier that said Joshua wants to fight Wilder regardless if he wins or loses. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Dude, he has a date for Wembley already locked up, April 13th.
Hey, let's get it.
I mean, what's more likely to happen is he's going to end up fighting like Dylan White again. Sad.
I hope we don't play this game where like him and Wilder just somehow fight other people until like 2022.
Like this is all on Eddie Hearn, man. Like this is on Eddie Hearn. He He is the obstacle to making this fight.
Well,
Like,
hopefully,
I really hope this happens before. Like, I hope Wilder beats Fury. And we get this battle between like these two. I don't think we've ever seen this in boxing before. Like, these guys have near 100% knockout ratios. They're undefeated. They're both like Olympic medalists. And you can say what you want about the era, but like in terms of like just all that background, they've never seen that before.
right. And they have such contrasting styles. Like one guy's like a human shotgun, like he, he just kills people, and then Joshua's more the you know, I'll wait and be patient, and then I'll kill you at some point. I'll catch you with one, but we'll see. I hope we get that fight sooner, much rather than later.
You know what's really funny to me because just talked about both of them. Joshua made Jon Jones's gimmick work because that was like Jones's gimmick was like he was like the good guy in MMA.
Boy, did that turn around
right?
really quick.
Like people started liking him once he just realized that he just embraced the fact that he was a douchebag. But like I think Joshua has legitimately just made that gimmick work, where he is literally clean cut and boring as shit. If you listen to him talk, but people love him, probably because he's built like a fucking action figure.
Hey man, whatever works. Whatever works.
I mean, whatever gets you those $50 million paychecks and puts 100,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, man, that was an awesome fight, and we'll keep an eye on Eggman and Wilder, and we'll see how that turns out. And
that fight's on pay-per-view, by the way. So I expect it to bomb horrifically. But hey, I'll be there.
We'll see. But that was boxing. So before we get to UFC, we got a Bellator card to cover, because that also went down this week. Bellator went down, one championship went down, LFA went down. I didn't watch LFA though, missed it again. But that's on the DVR somewhere. But anywho, Bellator 205 went down on Saturday night. Was that Saturday? No, Friday night. AJ McKee and John, is it Macappa?
Yeah.
Probably saying that incorrect.
I don't think that was his name when he got signed.
I thought it was like Teixeira or something.
Yeah, right? Because I remember it was like John Teixeira versus freaking what's his name? Garstone Santos. Because I was really.
Maybe he has like a hyphenated last name or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's just his nickname, like Henan Barao.
I forgot about that. Oh god, I don't want to talk about that. We'll get to that. But Bellator 205 went down Friday night. I can't really speak on the prelims because I was half watching them and I was half asleep. But the main card definitely had some fights worth of note, and it was a pretty solid card. Main event, as we stated, AJ McKee and John Macappa. Lasted all of 1 minute and 9 seconds. For about like the first 30 seconds, I was like, oh, McKee's actually going to be in a, he's going to be in a fight this fight. Like, Macappa was pushing forward. Like, it seemed like it was going to be like a really, like a test for AJ. Like, he was fighting a guy who was not going to shy away, somebody who wasn't gun shy, somebody who was willing to throw. They had a few exchanges. And then in the middle of one of these exchanges, McKee slipped a left hand in there, caught Macappa right on the chin, and he died on spot. One hit a quitter, and that was it. It was a very quick sniping of Macappa by AJ McKee.
It was like the weirdest uppercut. Because it has like an upward trajectory, but like it's coming forward.
Right. It didn't even look like it didn't look like it was like a ton of force. I think it was because it was from such like close range. I don't know, but
it looks like he got some pop on it. But it looks like instead of like a punch, like it looks like he just battered him,
right,
like a battering ram, you know? Because it goes like straight up through his chin, and just causes his whole neck to snap.
Yeah, and he collapsed like on impact.
Oh yeah, no, like you can tell like as soon as that punch landed, he was gone.
Yeah, he was out of there. My first thought was, I can't believe you guys thought like Gallagher was gonna. No shade, man. No disrespect, but
Like, dude,
Gallagher did not want this smoke. I promise you, he did not want this smoke.
dude, like when people were talking about that fight, I wanted to see it. I'm like, why do y'all want to see him die so badly?
Oh man, but really impressive performance from McCappa. I think at this point for McKee, man, you got to give him. If he's not getting the title, I forgot who's Pitbull's still champ, right?
Yep, he's fighting Emmanuel Sanchez in Tel Aviv.
McKee's got to fight a guy like
He was supposed to fight Pat Curran.
Well, yeah. See, I don't remember how long Curran's out. I don't remember what that injury was, but yeah, at this point you got to give him a guy like that. Like if he can get a fight in the meantime, I mean, because he virtually took no damage in this fight. So I'm pretty sure he could go another one.
Get him on that Tel Aviv card. I mean,
yeah. Like we got to get him a top guy because he's been nothing but impressive. Like his entire Bellator run, and I think he's shown enough. I think he's been I like what they did with him. They didn't rush him, but I think now I feel comfortable saying like you can give him a top guy now, and I don't see it as him being rushed. Like I think he's proved that he's ready to make that leap, and we should give him that shot.
He is 12-0, and all 12 of those fights came in the Bellator cage.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys did not make it out that octagon.
Right. So,
yeah, a lot of them got sniped, but yeah, man.
Like I'm trying to I don't want to see him fight Daniel Strauss because I think that's the only guy who is being not hurt. Daniel Weichel, I'd be down with seeing him fight.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like Weichel. Weichel's definitely a top guy. That'll be somebody who would give him a good fight.
Wait, who? Not Emmanuel Sanchez, but the other guy. Rick Corrales.
Yeah, wouldn't mind that either. Yeah, you gotta give him one of those names. Like he's starching everybody else. Like at this point, yeah, just give him one of those recognizable names, one of those staples, one of those guys who's been around here and who's made it to the top, or at least always like been relatively close to the top, that he can prove himself against. And good on Bellator for having a great homegrown talent in this guy. Like,
dude, one of the things I'm always critical about Bellator is they'll push, your King Mo's, but not AJ McKee. But they're getting him in main events and then putting him in co-headliners and just give him an audience. I think he could be a guy for them, a legit draw.
Yeah, I mean, and he shows out pretty much every fight. So yeah, I don't see a reason he can't become one of the faces of Bellator. But yeah, awesome KO from him. Co-main event was Rafael Lovato Jr. and John Salter.
Lovato Jr. reminds me a lot of Charles Oliveira. Yeah, they're both jiu-jitsu dudes, but they both throw strikes like jiu-jitsu dudes.
A lot of loops, a lot
of kicks, a lot of strikes that if you weren't comfortable fighting off your back, you wouldn't throw, period.
Right. Let's just say when you watch them strike, it's like, oh yeah, that's not his primary thing.
Well, it's not even they're bad at it. It's just okay, I can definitely tell you're okay with being taken down. The way you throw everything you have behind your body kick,
right,
signifies to me that okay, you want them to grab your leg and take you down.
Yeah, like the first round was basically like a kickboxing, two a quote unquote kickboxing match, and then they started grappling more in the second and third. But yeah, man, once Lovato got him down in the third, like he just kind of made it look pretty effortless.
Yeah.
Like the way he transitioned and just got his back, like it was like child's play.
Like all respect in the world to John Salter. Like I don't know, like does he have like a BJJ background, or is he?
I think he does. I'm pretty sure he's a I think they have like a similar background. Well, maybe not like in terms of like accomplishments, but
He is an Abu Dhabi West Coast Trials winner. He's competed at Abu Dhabi, like the American Abu Dhabi submission wrestling thing. Okay, because the way that like McCarthy and crap, who was that other dude whose name escapes me?
Goldie.
Was it Goldie?
I feel like it was Goldie.
Oh yeah, it was Goldie. Shit. Brian Fitzgerald being the new Goldie. But no, the way they were talking about the fight, he's like, oh, it's a great fight between like two world class submission artists. I'm like, is John Salter a world class submission artist because he submitted Brandon Halsey or Jacob, like Dustin Jacoby or Kendall Grove? Like, is that why we're calling him this now? Because that seems kind of lopsided. Because I think Lovato Jr. is legitimately like amazing.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like he's on that other level. Like if he takes you down, it's I ain't gonna say it's a guarantee that you're gonna lose, but the chances go up to like 95%. Like you're probably gonna be out of here. It's not gonna end well for you.
Basically.
I think he's still undefeated in Bellator, right?
He's undefeated. He is 9-0 now, and you know what that means.
Title shot.
I'm trying to imagine, like, I can't imagine a title shot between him and Gegard Mousasi. Because it kind of feels like how do I explain it? Like, yeah, he's 9-0, and yeah, he's beat everybody in Bellator's, like, middleweight division so far. But that's Gegard Mousasi, and he does this shit for real.
Yeah.
Not even that there are levels to this shit, but like, did anything Lovato Jr. showed in this fight make you think, oh, he can beat Mousasi? Like, that Mousasi has to do anything but jab at him for 25 minutes to beat him?
Yeah. But I don't know, the way Bellator is constructed, he might find himself there not too far from now.
I mean, the way Bellator is constructed, Rory McDonald might have the middleweight title until 2020 because he has to fight in this damn tournament after he fights Mousasi.
Oh man. Good win for Lovato Jr., man. Awesome submission. Next fight was Vita Ortega and Denise Kielholtz. What do I say about this fight?
Kielholtz did not look bad. Like, this was for those who don't know, Denise Kielholtz was one of the best kickboxers on the planet. They might have actually been the best. She also has like a background in judo. So like when you hear like world's best kickboxer, your first thought is like Tiffy Van Zos getting taken down and submitted in Invicta, or was she not? Or she like stopped on punches? I don't remember. Point being, like that's like your thought process, and that's not what happened here. She looked pretty good up until the point where she did get submitted.
Yeah, like she got out of a few ground scrambles. She
stopped a couple takedowns.
Yeah, she stopped some takedowns. And on the feet, she was definitely landing. But Ortega's just really scrappy, like super scrappy.
Yeah, that's basically what it came down to. Because when she grabbed that neck, standing up, like you can tell right away, Kielholtz had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, because I rewatched that fight actually like a couple hours ago. And I noticed that when she got put in the guillotine, I was just watching her arms, and I was like, all right, is she gonna go for a takedown, or is she gonna fight the hands? And it looked like she was lost.
She was like,
It looked like
"Is this a submission?"
right, like it looked like she had a brain freeze because she didn't fight the hands, like she didn't do anything, like she just kind of sat there, and then like Ortega made an adjustment and made it even tighter, and it was like, ugh, Denise, you gotta do something, you gotta get out of there, like this isn't good, and she got choked out. But props to Ortega, man, for just being like really, really scrappy. I mean, and she wasn't scared to exchange on the feet either. Like, if you know Denise, you know her kickboxing credentials, you know what she can do. Ortega didn't care. She was in there scrapping punch for punch. Whether she was getting the better the exchanges or not, but yeah, when she locked in that guillotine, it was over.
The one
It was
benefit for being a 125-pound woman fighting the best kickboxer in the world in Denise Kielholtz is that it's not like fighting Saki, because Saki can and will like turn your lights out.
right.
Kielholtz was never that type of like kickboxer.
Yeah, no, like one hit knockout power. So you can risk a little bit of staying on the feet. But yeah, props to Vita. She went out there and did what she needed to do. This next fight, which kicked off the card, this was a fun one. Patricky Pitbull and Roger Huerta. I gotta give Huerta props, man, because I thought he was gonna die in this fight. Well, I mean, he did get KO'd, but I envisioned this fight being like they come out, they touch gloves, there's a quick exchange, Patricky throws like an uppercut, and like Roger Huerta's head flies off into like the second row. But nah, these two they threw down, man. This was a fun back and forth, just wild fight for the round and like a half, not even a half that it lasted. Huerta even rocked Patricky one time, or he stunned. I think he caught him like a right, and he buckled him for a quick second, and I was like, oh, is Huerta really about to pull this off? But Patricky gonna Patricky. He put the hands on Roger, as he pretty much puts the hands on almost everybody he fights, and but not for lack of effort, man. Huerta was out there punch for punch, strike for strike. They were throwing down. They both hurt each other, but Patricky just kind of has that kind of power. You can't eat too many of those shots, and he had caught Huerta, I think, with like an uppercut, and he just kind of flopped. I think he got rocked before that, and then he got caught with the uppercut. And after the uppercut, it was just over. Like you knew he wasn't about to get back up.
That was so sad. Like they were on commentary, they were saying like Huerta believes he can be a world champion. He doesn't want to retire until it happens. I'm like, damn, he's never gonna retire.
But like, he fought like a guy who really believed he could, though. Like he was out there, and
I'll give Huerta this. Like he has lost a shit ton in recent years. Like in fact, I think he's like 2-6 in his last 8 or something like that. It's not crazy. But like, it's never been as of late. He's fought better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't look, for lack of a better term, washed.
But he looks like an old journeyman regional fighter, which is probably what he is. But he's not out here like Joe Lozon, just like staring at punches and just physically incapable of like stopping them from coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or moving out the way. He looks like, he just looks like an old dude who can still like scrap a little.
Yeah, there's a little bit left in the tank, and he's just emptying out that little bit that's left.
Right.
But nah, this was it was a really fun fight. It was way more competitive than I had this fight playing out in my head. And I don't know if Patricky gets a title shot off this. I don't know what Brent Primus is doing. I don't know if Brent Primus is still alive.
I mean, if he wasn't, they would have like showed the graphic with his picture on it, right?
I don't even think they know where Brent Primus is.
Does Brent Primus know where Brent Primus is?
Yeah, I don't think he. No, nobody knows where Brent Primus
One
is. Like
day we'll get Brent Primus on the show.
Ask him the tough questions, like, bro,
Bro, do you
where were
really
you from?
exist?
Right. Where were you the night of the year 2015 till now? Like, where have you been?
Wait, Brent, are you not a figment of all, like, our collective imagination?
That Chandler fight was just like a Matrix program.
Chandler literally just went in there and fought like air, and none of it missed.
Man, but I wouldn't be mad if Patricky got a title shot. I mean, at this point, just to see a new face at that title shot, because, man, Chandler's fought for the belt like 80,000 times. He's had it 20,000 times.
Just Chandler, Mr. Worst Luck in the sport.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad if Patrick can get a shot. So, Primus, if you're out there, man, if you're healthy, if you're alive, if you can hear us, you should fight Patrick. You should
just fight.
Yeah. Post a video of you hitting something so we know that, like, you're out there.
Does Brent Primus have a Twitter?
I think he did at one point. I don't know if he still does.
I mean, I remember him tweeting at, like, Michael Chandler and begging him to, like, to say publicly that Brent Primus beat him. Like, he was like, come on, just admit that I won the fight. Please, I need this validation. Oh, wait, I follow him on Twitter. Here we go.
That was his last post in, like, 2012.
Excited to be working with Bomb Squad Growers OG, who produce the best recreational medical marijuana and products. Tree emoji, fire emoji. I've always been a believer in medical and healing properties of.
Are you healing, sir? Like, are you done healing? Like, we've been waiting very patiently.
What type of name is Bomb Squad Growers OG?
That sounds like Bomb Squad. Sounds like a 90s hip hop label.
I mean, it sounds like what will eventually be Deontay Wilder's promotion.
Oh, man. But that was Bellator 205. It was a pretty solid card. Definitely watch the main card. Like, a lot of good performances. The main card was all finishes.
Yeah.
So
we didn't watch the like you said, neither one of us watched the prelims, but quick shout outs to Steve Mowry, the 620 fucking heavyweight. Who's actually he's like 6'8". He looks taller. It's really weird. And shouts to Adam Boric, who I believe is Gegard Mousasi's boy, if I remember right. And then shout out to Misha Tate's baby daddy, who fought on the prelims for this card, Johnny Nunes.
He did?
Yeah. He fought Josh Wick.
Huh. Shout out to him. I didn't know that. Shout out to him. But that was Bellator 205. Pretty good card. Go give it a watch. They put the fights on their website, so you can go to Bellator.com and watch the fights if you did not get a chance to.
Also watch them on the app.
Oh yeah, I did not download that. Why did I uninstalled the app for some reason?
Because it sucks.
I feel like it
really does. I'm sorry for recommending it.
it was something like it did to my phone or something, and like it wasn't. I couldn't get it. I don't remember.
It keeps crashing. It also won't load fights. I don't know why I said to watch on the app.
Right. Yeah, just get on laptop.
Fuck Bellator. Go watch the one card.
There you go. Step your app game up. But on to the meat and potatoes.
I mean, can we really call this card the meat and potatoes?
I mean,
it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but like, where's the meat here?
I was thoroughly entertained. Is a stretch.
This is like
I can't say thoroughly entertained because of two fighters, or three fighters that appeared on this card that all pissed me off like simultaneously.
Instead of meat on the bone, like this is like the chew toy that tastes like meat. That the dog chews on for like 3 hours and is wondering why he's still hungry.
This is like steak gristle.
Yeah.
Anywho, UFC Fight Night. Sao Paulo went down Saturday. Headlined by Thiago Santos and Eric Anders.
Two men who were not on the card but a month ago.
Right. So shout outs to them, man, just for being here. Giving us a main event that otherwise may not have happened. But this card went down. We'll just start from the top. Santos Anders. For those who didn't know, Anders replaced Jimmy Manuwa, who had to pull out for an injury. And this is both of their debuts at 205. Well, Anders just took the fight on short notice. He's at 205. I don't think he's staying up here. Not anything about her.
Anders literally took this fight on a week's notice.
Yeah.
As opposed to Maheta, who had a full camp at 3 weeks.
And man, this fight was. I didn't think this fight was going to go out like the first or second rounds. I was surprised that it lasted as long as it did, but it was still pretty violent.
What was the original main event for this card?
Huh?
What was the original main event for this card again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Santos and Manuwa.
No, it was who did Santos replace?
No, Anders was the replacement. Santos was supposed to be here.
Santos was supposed to be here before Anders, but Santos himself was a replacement for somebody else.
What?
Hold up.
I don't remember.
It was Glover. This was supposed to be Jimmy Manuwa versus Glover Teixeira.
Ugh, I'm glad we didn't get that one. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm on the wiki page. Teixeira pulled out August 14th due to a shoulder injury. It was replaced by Thiago Santos, who went. Okay, yeah. So we had a lot of musical chairs going around with this card.
I remember because Maheta was like, "I want to fight Jimmy Manuwa," and Manuwa turned the fight down for like 2 weeks because he was like, "I want a ranked opponent or something." And then the UFC was like, "You're gonna fight Thiago Santos, and you're gonna like it." Then he signed and got hurt.
Yeah. And he stayed and watched the fight in the crowd. But this was a pretty fun, violent main event. There were points in this fight where I thought Anders is like one of the toughest dudes I think I've ever seen. But really, props to both these guys for having some chins, because they were both landing some pretty heavy leather getting thrown around. Then Anders, man, he was just taking it. Like, I was impressed that just no matter how much he ate, he just kept pushing forward. Like, dude is a zombie. He was a zombie out there. Like, you literally had to kill him to get him to stop. Like, literally, he looked like he almost died when this fight was over.
Yeah.
I thought for a second that he was going to end up winning, just because it seemed like towards the second that, like, Santos looked like he started to get winded a bit. Like, he was throwing the kitchen sink at Anders, and Anders was just he was still there, just in his face the entire time.
You know what the problem with that is, though? Anders doesn't throw. He will walk you down. He will walk you down forever, but the man just doesn't throw for whatever reason.
It's like he would only engage when, like, Santos engaged him, and they would have like a mini, like, firefight moment where they would both throw. Like, Anders threw just enough so that Santos kind of just had to respect it, and he couldn't, like, rush in and do anything crazy.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't enough to, like, because I really felt like in that second and third round, like, if he just would have put his foot on the gas, like, Santos to me looked like he was starting to wear out, and Anders, for as much punishment as he was taking, still looked like he had energy in the tank to give, but he might get a takedown or push you against the cage, but it wasn't, anything like crazy substantial. But they had a few back and forth, little violent spurts here and there. Like I said, Santos was landing a lot of hard shots, power shots. Anders, like I said, would throw enough just to kind of keep Santos at bay and make him just kind of respect his power. But man, that ending sequence. So I can't remember if Anders got a takedown. I can't remember how they got on the ground, but Anders has him like back against the cage on the ground. Santos starts dropping elbows, and you can tell after about the third or fourth elbow that it kind of looked like Anders was feeling him. I almost feel like at one point he was kind of just sitting there.
He went limp.
So he definitely departed for a couple of seconds. I thought they were gonna stop it at first, because he just kind of wasn't really answering. Like, he was moving, kind of, but it looked like he just wasn't really all the way there. Like I said, it looked like he did go limp for a second. He definitely wasn't all the way there. And then at the end of the round, he survives the barrage, and he literally like sits up, and then he falls back in between Mark Goddard's legs. And I thought they were gonna wave it off right there, because I was like, that's a clear sign, like, bro, he's not gonna make it back to the stool. Like, he literally laid back in between Mark Goddard's legs. He just couldn't get up. And then
He tried to step up.
Yeah, he tries to. It looked like. It looked like the last like scene of like a movie when like the hero is trying to use every bit of energy he has to like get up and launch like his final attack, but like he just never was. He stood up for like a second, took maybe one or two steps, fell, got back up again, and just collapsed, and then they waved it off. It was weird. Like, on one hand, I had like all the respect in the world for him, because I was like, dude, I felt like he wanted it so bad. Like, he really wanted to keep going, and he literally gave like, that was his last bit of energy, just trying to get back up, and he just couldn't. And on the other hand, I was like, this is kind of terrifying. Like, I hope he's okay. Like, I can't think of many times I've seen a guy just kind of collapse like that.
Like, that's some shit that has me worried about not just like your career, but your life.
Yeah, like, I think they did rush him to the hospital. I saw somebody post on Twitter, he did go to the hospital after the fight. As far as I know, everything's okay. He even joked about it on Twitter. He posted, what did he say? I haven't been that tired since my wedding night. So I hope he's okay. It seemed like he's in good spirits, but yeah, that was.
I'm kind of really hoping this is mostly just fatigue from taking a fight on a week's notice.
Yeah,
and having to fly all the way down to Brazil to take it.
Yeah,
because that's up there for the most scared I've been for somebody who just like collapsed. Like, if you watch enough regional MMA and like the horrible shit that happens, like that's the type of collapse that happens when people die.
Yeah. And it's like, ugh, that was. Yeah, but I think I want to say, I don't know if it's on Twitter or maybe it was on an announcement, somebody had eventually said like he made it to the back on his own power, like he was able to stand up.
Oh yeah, no, dude. If you look at the official decision, or you hear you see him actually just walk up to Santos and shake his hand.
Yeah.
So
that was good. It was one of those moments. I've never seen anything like that before. It was, but like after that, I was like, I have all the respect in the world for this dude. Like that was crazy. Like that was
one of those too tough for your own good type like beatings.
Yeah, and I'm really glad, thank God, because I feel like we've seen this other times. Even though I thought it should have gotten waved off after he literally fell in between Goddard's legs, I am so glad that after he collapsed that second time that they didn't pull some tough guy nonsense and like.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if your corner has like, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure the rules state you have to make it back to your corner, like, on your own power. Yeah. Like, they almost immefully were trying to pick him up and carry him to his corner. And they tried it twice.
After that second one, I was like, this is over.
Like, I'm surprised.
Cause I was really afraid for a second that after that second collapse that like somehow the fight wouldn't get waved off and they would just wait for him to stumble his way back to the corner. And they'd force him to another round that he just didn't need to see.
You know what the awful part about that is? Like, that's totally something that would happen in this sport.
We've complained about that numerous times. of fighters who make it out to other rounds that they should not have ever even. Yeah, it definitely happened.
Yeah.
But man, how do you like Santos at 205?
I'm with it. Like, it's not like he hits any less hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If freaking Anthony Smith can be a top 5 heavyweight, why can't Maheta? Like, again, like, not he took this fight on like 3 weeks notice. And I'm pretty like, when was his last fight? It wasn't too long ago, if I'm remembering correctly. It was in August. Yeah, he fought like a month ago. It was that crazy ass fight with Kevin Holland. So like the dude's out here grinding. If he's gonna be fighting 3-4 times a year, because that was his 4th fight this year. Yeah, I want him fighting at a weight class where like he can go for 5 rounds or 3 rounds or however many rounds he needs. So 205, I'm with it. Let him knock out Sam Alvey.
That was taken care of.
I'm trying to think of like rebook that Jimmy Manuwa fight, because one guy who can only throw power and another guy who can only throw power. What could go wrong?
Right. No way that doesn't end in violence. That's an instant death for somebody.
Hold up.
But
hold up. I have to check something. List of I feel like Santos should be on some type of record list right now, right? Like for most stoppages in the UFC, or most knockouts in the UFC, I should say. Because it feels like he's like just put like a ridiculous amount together.
I feel like every fight he wins, he kills somebody.
Right.
He's not out here grinding out decisions. He's shooting to kill.
Thiago. No, he's not yet. But he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stoppages in the UFC so far.
And at 205, where a lot of old guys are, I think that number will...
slow guys. Like...
that number will increase.
Yo, imagine if he cracks Misha Serkinov. Oh my! Imagine versus Patrick Cummings.
Oh, there are bodies to be caught at 205 for this man.
Freaking Corey Anderson, who got knocked down like twice by Shadow. Can you imagine what would do to that?
Yeah, we gotta. I'm glad he's at 205. He's bringing some violence that is needed. Yeah, man. Any fight at 205 with him, I'm looking forward to. But shout outs to Anders, man. Dude is crazy tough. I don't know if he's staying at 205. I think he would probably be better at middleweight. But yeah, Anders, just do a little bit more volume, man. I feel like he could really get some guys out of there if he just pushed it just a little bit more. But either way, awesome main event. Ended in pretty violent fashion. So yeah, that was the main event. Co-main event: Alex Cowboy Oliveira and Carlo Pedersoli. I was happy and sad with this fight at the same time. When these two got paired up, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of violence. This should be nothing but fun. And it was violence. It just didn't last as long as I hoped that it would have went. I wanted to get like at least one full round out of this, but Cowboy had other plans.
He didn't get a full minute.
Right. He left the oven on at home and he just needed to get out of there. The finish was slick though, on the low. Pedersoli steps in for the side kick. Oliveira catches the kick with one hand, and with his other free hand, he just blasts Pedersoli right on the chin. Knocks him down, gets him ground and pound, and 5 seconds later, he's jumping over the cage celebrating. And That's it.
Yeah, basically.
That was it. 40 seconds. It was 39 seconds. I don't. Cowboy's just one of those guys. I just want to see him fight like every card. Like just throw him on every card. Let him fight everybody.
Yeah, he's super fun. Like, I don't know if he ever fights for a title, but dude's just gonna be always fun to watch. And he fights like 5 times a year. So this is only his second fight this year, though, which is really weird. Because he fought.
How old is
he? He is 30. So he still got some time left.
He still got some years left. I mean, and this could be me being overly optimistic, but he has a ton of power. Dude is like crazy, freakishly athletic. Welterweight isn't really getting any younger. He could punch a ticket up there. I think if he can get just a little string going, some solid consecutive wins.
Like, on the one hand, I agree with you, but on the other hand, he's 2 fights removed from getting knocked out by Yancy Medeiros.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, but he also beat Ryan LaFair and Tim Means. Like, he's a weird dude.
I can't even say it's a matchup. I don't know. Maybe it's a matchup.
Maybe
thing.
it's still he's feeling the night of the fight.
Right, but I think it's also like kind of his style of fight. Kind of can lend to him getting hurt because I feel like he's one of those dudes that like if you start a firefight with him, he's engaging in the firefight. Like he's not backing down.
Yeah, like I think the weirdest thing about him is like he will fight you at whatever fight you wanted to have. Like he will have a wrestling match with Will Brooks because why the fuck not? If you wanna just have like a straight up war. Like Yancy Medeiros did, why not? Like he will meet you on your terms most of the time, except for Carlos Condit, who he took down and just mercilessly beat.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that. Oh man, but yeah, man, that was a quick dispatching of poor Pettersale. But shout out to Cowboy, man. Always bringing the violence. Dude never disappoints. Never disappoints. Lord, speaking of disappointments.
I mean, who's disappointing here? Like
everybody.
I'm disappointed they made the fight. I'm not disappointed with how it ended.
When this fight came on, I just wanted it to be over, and I wanted Little Nog to win, but at the same time, I almost didn't care, because I was just like, why is this? You know why this fight got me mad actually? Because I was just looking at other fights on the card, and I was like, Zaleski dos Santos could have been like, there are other people who could have gotten this spot. Why am I watching Little Nog and Sam Alvey in 2018?
Because people love Little Nog, bro. They're beating down the doors to watch this 43-year-old man knock out people who have like. Can we talk about Little Nog's like recent run, real quick? I say recent, but I'm going back to like 2013 for his last 5 fights. He's 3-3, but the only reason he's 3-3 is because whoever the matchmaker was at the time, it could have been Joe Silva, it could be Sean Shelby, decided, you know what, Little Nog only fights like once every 2 years, so let's have him fight Rumble. Let's have him fight Ryan Bader. Because after that, he's been pretty fun. Like, he's been fun. Like, he beat Rashad, he knocked out Patrick Cummings, and then he knocked out Sam Alvey. Like,
he boxed Rashad.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I mean, well, I'm pretty sure that was just the fight where they stared at each other, and Lil Nog stared just a little bit harder and got the win. But point being, like, Lil Nog still a pretty confident striker. Most of the light heavyweight division is not.
Yeah, I say that's them old man hands still gotta. They can still crack. They can still they can still crack. When Albie caught that right hand, I don't think he knew. I don't think he expected that old man strength.
Yeah. It's a shame Dan Henderson isn't fighting anymore. We could have got that fight.
I don't know. I think Hendo might have cleaned him. If I'm being honest. I think that's one of those fights where like Little Nog would have had a moment, like he would have cracked Dan with a right, and then Dan would have cracked him with a right, and Nog would have died. And it would have been bad, and we all would have been really hurt.
Man, if they're gonna keep fighting, like I refuse to be hurt. Just no more feelings. Like what happens happens. Like, did you hear his post-fight interview where he's like, "I do this all for you. Like my back hurts. My kids don't want to fight anymore. Like training hurts. I can barely walk, but I'm still doing this." It sounded like a retirement speech, but he never.
Yeah, I was gonna when after the fight was over, I was like, please say the R word, Little Nog. Just you can leave out like this, like you get a win in Brazil, you win by knockout. Like it doesn't get much better.
No, it gets much better when he fights Jon Jones for the title.
He pulls off the upset of the ages.
Wait, how far removed are we from the UFC trying to make Gustafsson Little Nog? Because that was a thing, I remember.
Oh, man.
We're 2 years removed from that. It was supposed to be in November of 2016.
Oh, man, what if they do like Santos and Little
Oh my
Nog?
God, and they replaced him with Ryan Bader.
Oh, man.
Then they were supposed to fight Ilya Latifi.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. This fight just felt kind of meh. But, you know, if I'm being optimistic, if I'm finding the silver lining, like, at least Little Nog won. I don't like seeing the old guys get cleaned. So, if anything, I'm glad he won. I get worried when the really, really old guys are still in there just kind of throwing. And I'm just, I don't want to see you get hurt.
You know why I'm worried? Because this is just real. This is just gonna make his desire to fight all the more stronger.
Right. Like now he's gonna try to come back in like 3 months.
This is like if BJ Penn ever wins a fight, it's just gonna be his it's just going to be his driving force to just fight forever. Like he just goes out there and just steals a decision on Ryan Hall, and he's like, "I'm coming for that title, Khabib."
If I hear the word BJ Penn in title in 2018, I'm cutting off Fight Pass. I'm unsubscribing. I'm going home.
Like if BJ Penn was a light heavyweight, he'd be where Lil Nog is right now.
Which theoretically he could be.
Whoa.
I mean, he's been there before. For you guys that don't know,
stop running. You'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, Little Nog, he went out there and put those old man paws on Sam Alvey.
Oh wait, real quick before we move off this fight, did you see Sam Alvey's interview in the back beforehand? Did you see how he painted his face?
Oh, that was that picture I was
Yes.
seeing. Oh god. Yeah.
I posted it and it made Joey very upset.
God. Sam Alvey.
He's definitely going to murder somebody one day.
You might have already have. No guy smiles that much and doesn't have a checkered past. There is a body somewhere buried beneath something.
I like how we all just think.
Yeah,
like Sam Alvey has every reason in the world to smile. Like he is a great wife who loves what he does and helps him with his career. Like,
and her corner advice is.
Oh yeah, no, she is 100% like with it, which you don't expect from like someone who was on America's Next Top Model.
You know, she is with it. She gives him legit corner advice.
Yeah, and like, dude is 20 fights into his UFC career. Like he has no reason not to smile because like let's be real.
He's fought 20
I have
times?
no idea, but he fights like
I was
5
gonna
times
say.
a year. He's been in the UFC since basically MFC closed, which was like 2014. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th fight.
What?
Yeah. No, he
been
he
watching
fights forever. This is his 3rd fight of the year.
I didn't know I've been watching Sam Alvey fight for
And he has never been on a numbered UFC. Always on fight nights and Fox card prelims.
I'll leave that comment alone.
Point being, Sam Alvey has every reason in the world to smile. He is an overachiever in every sense of the word.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't make it sound like I hate the guy. It's just there's certain people who just when I see their name on a card, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to watch you today.
I mean, yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like my whole thing about Sam Alvey is like I respect the fact that you have made this into your life, because if we're being real, this probably shouldn't be your life.
But hey, man, he made it happen. So,
You know, I'm sorry that we're staying on Sam Alvey because Sam Alvey really shouldn't be taking up too much time in our however many hour-long podcasts. But it seems pretty like clear that if you're coming up in the UFC, whether you are a hot shot prospect that they're trying to catapult up the rankings like Zabit, or you're just a dude, trying to make it to your next paycheck, like maybe follow the Sam Alvey route and just have a bunch of dudes picked out that you can call out after every fight and be like, I want to fight that guy because X, Y, and Z. Like he beat my coach. I don't like Europeans.
Hey, man, it seems like it's keeping the paycheck coming in.
Sam Alvey will be in the UFC basically until he retires because if we're being real here, he's low rent. He fights like he's available for whatever. He's down for whatever. Like, why would the UFC get rid of him? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was that fight. This next fight, which I was even more disappointed with. God. I'm probably not gonna have a lot of nice things to say about it.
You know what? Shouts to Andre Ewell. Ewell?
I think it's Ewell. Could be wrong though.
Ewell. Ewell. Oh my god, I'm gonna keep. Shouts to Andre.
Right.
Dude was borderline homeless. He was about to get kicked out of his house before he got signed to the UFC. He accepts a fight with a former champion in that former champion's home country, and proceeds to whoop his ass basically. Yeah, it wasn't one-sided or anything, but he got a win on foreign soil. Yeah, he beat a former Brazilian champion in Brazil, like by decision. It's a pretty big deal.
And it's like,
and yeah, we can be bummed about Renan Morale being cooked because
oh no, I'm not bummed
because he refuses to bump up in weight.
I'm not bummed because I was never honestly like a huge Burrell fan. Like I respect the legacy, the run he had, all the people he put to sleep, all that good stuff. I wasn't like personally never a huge fan, but it's just like his like it's one thing to lose to like the top guys, the guys with a name. Like I'm on Wikipedia right now. You lost to a guy who doesn't even have like a hyperlink on his name. Like I've never seen a fall off this bad. Like like the first round, Barao like looks pretty good. Like he's getting the takedowns. He looks like the veteran. Like he looks like he just has way more in the arsenal. He just looks like this could be a schooling. Like, well, you might not be ready for this. This might not be for you. And then after the first round, I don't know what happened. Like, like in my head, I was like, this fight should not have even been like competitive. No disrespect to Ewell, but I'm just like a dude of your like caliber, regardless of if you know, obviously you're not the same fighter you used to be. I get it. But like it shouldn't. I just, it's like, how did you lose this? How did you let this fight even get so close?
He is cooked.
Like, this shouldn't even have. Even if you thought Barral won, this fight shouldn't have even been so close that it was debatable. Like, this whole fight should have looked like the first round. And, because, like, Ewell couldn't really stop the takedowns. But, like, after the first round, I don't know what happened to Barral. Like, I don't know what the game plan was after that. Because the first round seemed like everything was working pretty great. And
Whoa. You are forgetting the best part of the fight. Where Hedon Barral, in full sprint, runs into a punch by Andre Ewell. Like, I'm trying to think of just like another time I've seen a pro fighter just run, like actually run into someone's punch. And he got knocked down for his troubles. I honestly thought the fight was about to be over.
Yeah, this
what a mess.
Yeah, this fight was, and I don't even want to. I feel bad because I don't want to take away from Ewell. Like, he went in there and like literally you beat a guy who at one point some would argue was like the best fighter on the planet, and you went in there and you got a split decision over him. It was just so bizarre to watch, like Barral just fall off. I'm just looking at him and I'm looking at like skill sets and like what you can do versus what Andre can do, and I'm like, this fight should not be this competitive. But
lo and behold,
yeah, we here we are. But you know, it is what it is. Fights are not won on paper. You know, you got to go in there and perform. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, Ewell went in there and he was throwing hands.
Do you even mention the fact that Barral came in like 6 pounds overweight?
Somebody said on Twitter his face looks like his girlfriend always just caught him cheating. Yeah, oh God. I think I don't want to say disgusted with Barral, but I'm just like,
You're not.
After that fight, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to see you fight anymore. Like, and I don't even mean just in the UFC. Like, I don't even want to see you in like Bellator. Like, I just want you to go away. Like,
damn, bro.
Like, I don't want to see you anymore. Like, yeah. Maybe I'm harsh. I don't know. But good on Andre, man. He put pause on Barral. He landed some nice shots. He hurt him a few times, and he did what he needed to do to get the win. But Barral, like, if you're gonna come back, bro, just you were 4 pounds away from featherweight. Just go up, like, just go up.
Like, I think we had this conversation like when we actually saw the fight. Like, he didn't look bad against Jeremy Stephens, like when he was at 145. I don't remember the Philip Nover fight, but like when he fought Jeremy Stephens, he looked amazing for a round. Like that first round.
Yeah, and then he kind of like faded.
He faded because it was a completely different style than we're used to. Much more movement, a lot more intense. And he went back to like his old style, which is every time you get hit, you swing, you just bite down, plant your feet, and swing back, which you don't do when you're the smaller dude fighting Jeremy freaking Stephens. And even then, he managed to get it to a point in the third round where it was competitive. Like, he lost a 2-1 decision, but like that third round was like there was some back and forth in there. And then all of a sudden, after he fights Felipe Nover, he's like, you know what, I'm going to just go down and fight Aljamain Sterling and Brian Keller. Like, why? it's not working.
Yeah. I think that's probably just what's so frustrating about it. It's like, dude, you're taking years like off of your career, and you're kind of just making yourself. Because it's like, dude, if you can't beat Andre, you can't beat Andre. I'm like, who can I trust you at 35 at this point to
Like
beat?
at this point, beating Burrell at 135 doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything because that sounds mean to Awo. Like maybe Awo goes on to become like a title challenger or a top 10 dude, but like it doesn't hold any weight anymore because you're just beating a guy who's a shell of himself.
Yeah.
So it sucks because I actually did like Burrell, but like like just seeing people refuse to change when they are in a bad situation like Burrell is just frustrating beyond belief. Like
Ewell did the
no, like Aldo is changing. Like he is adapting. He's learning from the Holloway and McGregor fights, and now he's going up to 55. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that, didn't we? All those Aldo's looking for a fight at 155.
Oh yeah, we never did talk about that.
In December, they threw Donald Cerrone as an opponent out there for him, but his team turned him down.
I want this Pettis fight. I know it's 80 years late, but I just want to see it just because.
Yeah.
But props to Andre Ewell, man. He went in there. He did did what he needed to do, and I hope he got compensated well. Being nearly homeless, that is not not cool at all. Because he has like a family too.
Yep.
So I hope his pockets got compensated fairly well. But that was that fight, and rounding out the main card, Ronda Marcos and Marina Rodriguez. This fight ending in a draw is just wild.
Hey, this is the quintessential Ronda Marcos performance. She gets a takedown, does nothing with it, proceeds to lose the next 2 rounds. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it was just like the first round she gets the takedown. Like I said, she didn't do a ton, but she was like in control. I'm like, oh, all right. I think she landed like some decent ground and pound. It was one sided. It was like, all right, she's coming out like kind of hot. Maybe she got this in the bag. And then the second round comes. Gets Marina. I guess wakes up a little bit. Gets a little bit more competitive. A little bit more back and forth. And here we are 2 rounds after. And it is a draw. I don't remember the fight in a ton of specific detail. I just remember like after it being a draw, I'm like, Randa, you got to be kicking yourself. Like, you should have won this. Like, there's no reason you should have. This should have been a draw. But hey, man.
So, quick note. Randa Marcos. Apparently Randa Marcos was told she had to accept this fight, or the UFC would cut her. So I'm kind of curious. Like, okay, you fought to a draw. The parts of the fight you were like actually in control of were pretty boring. Like, are they gonna bring her back? I'm assuming they had high hopes for Marina Rodriguez because they gave her a top 15 opponent at home, which I thought was dumb because she's like quite obviously a striker, and Randa Marcos, for all her faults, is a pretty decent like top control wrestler. So they avoided a complete disaster by having their Dana White contender, the Tuesday Night Contender Series fight, winner, just get completely pancaked for 15 minutes. But like this, they could have easily gave this time slot to Elijah Zaleski dos Santos.
Yeah.
So.
Poor Zaleski. His flying knee was relegated to we'll get there when we get there. But that was the main card. Moving down to the prelims. Charles do Bronx Oliveira and Christos Giagos. Oliveira gets his record-breaking 11th submission win in the UFC. All I remember is like in the second round when he came out and he just threw like every spinning attack he could think of.
it threw in like combination, like a spinning back elbow, and then threw the other elbow and a spinning back elbow.
Yeah,
Giagos
just never. Yeah, he walked him down pretty much like the entire fight, throwing strikes. Giagos was just kind of bouncing around on the outside. He never really got off any kind of like substantial offense. I think Oliveira had taken him down in the first. Giagos did have a nice one, I guess, good thing he kind of did because Oliveira got him down in the first, and Oliveira I think was like going for mount, and Giagos he did a nice bucked him off and was able to get back up. But after that, he never really got much off. And then second round gets here, spinning attacks get thrown. They end up on the ground, and if Oliveira takes you back, you know how that's probably going to end. And he gets his record-breaking 11th submission win. And then I immediately thought afterwards, like, he's probably going to shatter that record. Like,
yeah.
He's got so much more time to fight.
It's also worth noting that a lot of those submissions came on like in fights where he had like 5 pounds on his opponents because he just refused to make weight.
And now he's talking about going back down to featherweight.
His real division. Never mind that he was way bigger than Giagos.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just stay at lightweight, man. Just don't.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, just don't be one of those guys, man.
He is that guy. What are you talking about? They have got away for fighting at featherweight for like 4 years, despite the fact he never made weight. That will never not be funny to me. It's like whatever. Never mind. So about the submission record, Royce actually does have 11 submission wins in the UFC. It's just one of them was ruled a knockout submission to punches.
Also, they don't count.
So I'm assuming that's what the UFC is basing this record-breaking number on. So Royce is stuck at 10 under their model, but one of his submission wins was actually submission to punches. So just a weird little tidbit of news or trivia fact. Yeah, no, Oliveira, one of the best submission fighters of all time. Imagine what he could do if he was like mentally tough or had a chin. or just fucking fought at the weight class he was freaking made to fight at.
Right. just go up, just stay at 55. You get anybody on the ground, you know, you got a very likely chance that you're gonna win.
Like, you know what I think it is? I think Oliveira, when he got to the UFC, he got there pretty young.
Yeah, he was early 20s.
Like, really early 20s. He was a string bean of a person, like even more than now. Like he was not, like he had not been filled out at all, like muscle wise. He was basically skin and bones, right? He had only been fighting for like 2 years. He gets in there with Jim Miller. He gets knee barred. Gets in there with Donald Cerrone. Gets his ass beat inside a round. So my thought process is Charles Oliveira thinks he's still that guy. Like the guy who got bullied by Jim Miller and Donald Cerrone. You know what I mean? Like he like in his mind he never actually filled out to the point where he was actually like a sizable, lightweight. So it makes sense to me that he thinks he should be fighting at featherweight, even though it is quite clearly not true.
I hope somebody in that front office can tell him otherwise. Like, listen, bro,
Like,
we're not booking you any fights at 45. Like, you got to give him that Johnny Hendricks treatment. He just misses weight so many times. Like, listen, we can't do this anymore.
or if we book you at 145 and you miss weight, we're taking 95% of your check.
Right. So you will leave here with $500.
And the memories.
You're right. that's all you get. But either way, glad he broke the record. That was a pretty awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, especially nowadays,
Like I said,
you don't see a lot of like submission fighters. So
right. And the fact that he can just still pull this off, and like people know like what he's gonna do, and you kind of can't stop it. But yeah, that was an awesome win. This next fight, Francisco Trinaldo, the 60-year-old, 30-year-old, or however long he is, however old
the
he is.
world's swollest Brazilian lightweight.
Right. Against Evan Dunham. And this was Evan Dunham's retirement fight. Fortunately, did not go the way I think he would have hoped. But
I mean, if you're retiring from any combat sport, you should leave on your back. I'm just saying. It's the right thing to do for business.
Oh no. This was a little painful. This was
This was I think that's the hardest I've ever seen somebody knee somebody in the ribs.
Yeah. Oof.
He got every ounce of his weight behind that thing.
And it's like Trinaldo was countering a lot of the fight. So like had this fight ended, like had I known it was gonna end in a KO, I'd have figured like, oh, he'll like counter Dunham with like a right hand or something. Oh, maybe like a TKO, like he'll stun him and then follow up. But like Dunham kept going in for like that 1-2, and my God, he paid for it with a knee that just killed his entire. It looked like when he went down, like somebody had like stabbed him or something.
Yes, that's exactly it. That is exactly it.
Like the pain, the anguish in his face. It just looked like somebody just took a katana and just hacked away at his midsection. Like it looked really bad.
So the force from the knee pushes Dunham up in the air, and the referee, before Dunham even hits the ground, is stepping in to stop the fight.
Yeah.
Because he knows there is no way Evan Dunham's ribs have not been liquefied by that point.
Yeah, it was. Oof.
Like, he was writhing around on the ground in severe pain for a while after that one.
That's a rough way to end your fight career. That is.
I mean, at least it's memorable.
I know he.
I'm not sure I'm ever going to forget that.
No, that's one of the most perfectly placed knees you'll ever see.
Like, there's literally no way. Like, I didn't even see it when he landed it because the camera angle. I'm like, oh, Dunham just collapsed.
Right, his body just gave up. He just couldn't do it anymore.
Like, oh my God, I'm watching it now. He's like twitching.
Yeah, like it looks bad.
He has the 1,000-mile stare, and he's just twitching.
Like you'd have thought it was like a life-threatening injury. I mean, I'm pretty sure in that second it probably was, but I was relieved when he eventually got up. You know, he looked okay, but yeah, man, Francisco Trinaldo. He's the new toughest dad at the barbecue. He's taking your wife and your kids and your F-150 if you fight him at the barbecue. But Jesus Christ, that was hard. But shout outs to Trinaldo, epic knee. But hats off to Dunham, man. Really fun fight career. I'll just always remember him for like that stretch he had when he first got in the UFC, and like at one point for one like small moment in time, it looked like he was gonna be that next guy. And then the Sean Shirk fight happened, and then I don't know what happened after that.
Melvin Gillard need him.
Oh yeah, that did happen. But he always put on fun fights. Dude is just one of those crazy madmen who. It was kind of crazy. Like I didn't think he would stick around that long, but like he managed to stay in the game. He managed to keep his name relevant and still put on good fights for all these years.
He is a dude. Dude is a very good fighter. Like
yeah,
he like all the losses on his resume, like T.J. Grant, Rafael dos Santos, Dylan Cerrone, Edson Barboza, Melvin Gillard, Sean Shirk. Yeah. But like those are guys who at the time were literally the top of the division.
right.
Like he depending on like where Olivier Mercier and ends up, and like Trinaldo's like a top 15 dude. Like he is a very well put together, adjusted lightweight. Like there are no scrubs in Evan Dunham's like L column. Like he lost to very good fighters.
All right, and managed to like stay afloat in multiple eras, like because the MMA completely changed since the time he started.
Oh, dude, yeah,
like,
he's been in the UFC for almost 10 years, right?
Yeah, and he's managed to stay afloat. So that definitely says a lot about his talent and just how he was just able to stay around here for so long. But shout outs to him. I think I remember reading an interview because I knew this was his retirement fight. I think he was saying like he's focusing like a lot more on his gym. He likes training people, so he'll still be around the sport. Pretty sure he's got plenty of knowledge to give. So best of luck to him in his post-fight career. Next fight, Ryan Spann and Luis Enrique. I don't remember this fight in a ton of detail, but I root for Ryan Spann because he was from LFA.
Like I'm trying to determine if this is like a middleweight fight or just a low end like a light heavyweight fight because it has elements of both in them. You know what I mean? Like Ryan Spann's self-sabotage is like is basically the essence of what being a mid-tier mediocre light heavyweight fighter is like. But then you have Luis Enrique, who fights like every friggin' 2011 3-3 middleweight in the UFC. So I'm split here.
I was just happy that Spann got the win. Is he 2-0?
In the UFC, I think this is his first fight.
I thought he fought before. Right?
He fought.
Was he on
He fought in the Contender Series twice, and neither one lasted more than 30 seconds. But he lost the first one. I was going through Spann's record, and like no shame in the dudes he lost to. Like Carl Robertson, like yeah, he just lost, but he's obviously a tremendously talented, powerful dude. Trevin Giles, who I think is 2-0 in the UFC right now, and looks like a really promising prospect. Robert Drysdale, I mean, no shame in losing to a dude who has just this wealth of combat sports experience, and like no shame in losing to Leo Lede. Again, another dude who comes from like a lifetime of combat sports experience. So like props to Spann. Dude needs to learn how to not put himself in positions to lose though, because he in all honesty he should have probably knocked Enrique out.
Yeah, I felt wasn't Enrique bloody in this fight? I have a very bad memory of how this fight went. Thought he bloodied him up a little bit. I don't remember, but I feel like it wasn't like the most exciting fight, but Span just did enough to win. Like it was just a solid.
By the end of it, it was kind of sloppy and yeah.
It turned into a light heavyweight fight, pretty much. But Span got the win. Shout out to him. His next fight, which started the Fox Sports prelims, Augusto Sakai and Chase
Talk
Sherman.
about sloppy.
And when I when I saw Sakai's name, I was like, this guy's really familiar. I know him. Somewhere. I was like, oh, he was in Bellator.
Yes, he was the dude who. I don't even know how to explain it. Like he was somehow rounder than he is now. He got hit with every punch you threw at him, but he also threw like crazy knees from the clinch and was actually a really good leg kicker, which at the time was super rare at heavyweight. If you've ever done like heavyweight scouting reports, or you just looked at like the dudes who get mentioned at heavyweight, they all look exactly the same. They all just hit really hard and can take you down and beat you up from the top. And Sakai kind of stood out because he was just like this dude who was like, you know what, I'm actually kickbox. Emphasis on kick, not so much on box.
Yeah, it was a fun fight though. Him and Chase Sherman put on a nice little heavyweight, rock'em sock'em kind of fight.
Rock'em sock'em slap fest.
Yeah, that's what this was.
Chase Sherman, always fun to watch.
He just never seems to end up on the right end of the stick.
No.
Like, he has moments.
Literally, the only dude he's ever ended up on the right end of the stick with is the guy who is always on the wrong end of the stick in Rashad Coulter.
Shout outs to the GOAT.
Literally the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Shout outs to the GOAT.
Like, Chase Sherman probably will have a job forever in the UFC just because he's fun. But he's also like 2-5 in the division.
Man. Yeah, they had a... Yeah, I was... Because I remember... Well, I vaguely remember some of Sakai's fights in Bellator, and I feel like some of them weren't that great.
Oh, no. A lot of them were terrible. Like, his fight with Czech Congo, for starters.
So it was good to see him, like... He was out there moving, pretty nimble big fella. Out there, like, nice combinations. Like you said, they were throwing. They were throwing. It was a very entertaining, just back and forth fight. Unfortunately for Sherman, he just kind of got it poured on him in that third round. But yeah, it was a nice heavyweight rock'em sock'em. I was just happy that it wasn't like a super sloppy fight. Like, I feel like this could have been.
Oh yeah, no, this could like the fact that Sherman and Sakai kept up a pace. That Sherman apparently there is a limit to how much damage Sherman can take while being super tired. Again, I think it's one of those fights where like just Sherman was just more tired than he was hurt.
Yeah, because they kept a pretty hot pace.
Yeah, like it got messy towards the end, but Sakai was putting a lot of punches in Sherman's face.
Yeah. So, but that was a pretty fun heavyweight scrap. So shout out to Sakai for coming over to the UFC, and
I can't front though. The ending sequence where like he has to go from one side of Sherman to the other for inside control. He's just kind of just taking his time because Sherman's just too tired to do anything. And like he was trying to throw like elbows from the one side and it wasn't working because Sherman would just grab his elbow. So he pinned the elbow on the other side and put his body weight on it as he turned. And then proceeded to elbow him from there, and Sherman was just too tired to react.
Poor Sherman, man. Guy can't catch a break. Can't catch a break. But maybe they'll switch places. Maybe he'll end up in Bellator. I don't know.
Chase Sherman's the vanilla gorilla can go anywhere he wants because people will tune in to watch him lose.
Yeah. Whatever puts the checks on the table.
That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yep. If you're gonna lose, might as well get paid.
Exactly.
But
And heavyweight's the best division for that.
Right. Those were the Fox Sports 2 prelims. Moving on to the Fight Pass prelims. Sergio Moraes and Ben Saunders. All I remember from this fight is Moraes taking Saunders down. Took him down, I think, in the first. Wasn't able to get a submission.
Almost armbarred
Got
them.
him down in this.
Yeah, it was at the very end of the first
Oh,
half.
yeah. At the very end, yeah. He did almost get on, bro. Saunders got out.
The bell rang.
Might have been the bell saved. Yeah, the bell saved him. Had he had like 10 more seconds, that probably would have been over. But yeah, second round, he gets him down again. I don't even remember the finishing sequence. I just know it was an arm triangle. And that was it.
Yeah, basically. Shouts to Ben Saunders, who in the backstage after the fight went to Moraes and was like, "Can you show me how you finished me?" Just stood in the game.
You can never learn too
Exactly.
much.
Also, shout to
learn
Moraes, who is just quietly putting together a really good UFC career. I think he's like 6-2 or 7-2 now in the UFC.
And as a dude who came in pretty much like just a specialist, you know, he pretty much is you know what his game plan is. But like sometimes guys like that don't always pan out.
Right.
But he's managed to keep himself around.
Oh, he's 8-2 in the UFC. Goddamn. Yeah, no, like the only people he's lost to were Cesar Ferreira in the tough finale, and Kamaru Usman, and there's no shame in losing to Usman. Like, so, another funny that he was saying that he was going to test Ben Saunders' chin in this fight, because that immediately just shows, oh, he's going to take him down.
Right.
I'd be down for a fight between Moraes and Damian Maia. Like, he needs a top 10 opponent. He laid the groundwork by saying, "I have the best jiu-jitsu in MMA." Like, let's get it. They're both almost, well, Maia is 40. Sergio Moraes is like 36. Like, it's perfect.
And if you get past that, you know, well, I don't know how far they really push him, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. But no, yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I'm definitely.
It'll be the world's sloppiest kickboxing match, but I'm with it.
What's scary is it could end up being that for 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's fine, as long as it's not the main event.
Hold on, Moraes has knocked somebody out before, hasn't he? You got a KO.
He's knocked out with his face. Omar Akhmedov.
Yeah, I think he slept. I feel like
He also got slept.
Yeah, yeah. You win some, you lose some. Yeah. But shout out to Sergio. Next fight, which only lasted, I almost made it to the second, not quite. Mara? Was it Mara? Mara Bueno Silva and Jillian Robertson. I think this was Mara's debut in the UFC. Came out pretty aggressive. Was looking to strike, trying to put some paws on. I was impressed that she was doing good on the feet. Jillian would take her down, and she got caught in some bad spots and managed to get out. And she just kind of just kept pushing forward, just trying to bring the action. And that armbar, man, was pretty vicious.
Yeah, that has some torque.
Yeah, like limbs aren't supposed to bend that much. Like that looked really bad. And was this the fight? I can't remember. I think this was the fight. I felt really bad afterwards. Was she the one who cried afterwards? Oh, yeah, that. I felt
Someone
terrible.
posted the picture to Reddit, and the first 2 comments are like, "Damn, that's actually sad." And it says, "Alexa, face the pain." It actually...
Jesus, Jesus Christ! You ended the internet, man. You got so ruthless. No, I felt bad for her though, cause like she was having good moments in the fight.
Dude, she looked
like,
great. Like,
yeah,
okay, let me rephrase. She looked great when it came to the wrestling and grappling, because when she was standing, like,
yeah,
she does not look like somebody who's been fighting amateur or pro for like 5 years. She was just straight up running into punches. Just like good. She looked completely uncomfortable fighting. Like that she doesn't get enough like sparring time in or something. It's really weird. But she was doing great on the mat. Up until the armbar. And had she held out for 5 more seconds, she would have won. Because it turns out after the fight, Bueno Silva's leg had just completely stopped working.
Yeah, like she could barely stand. They had to like hold her up after. I don't even know like what injured that or like how that.
I'm assuming it's something that happened along the fence when she went for the armbar.
But either way, she went home with a limb. So shout outs to Mara, great debut, great way to leave a good first impression. Next fight, Tyler Slatus, Hector Lombard. All I could think when I was watching this, I was like, at one point in both of these guys' careers, you guys were regarded as like the top of your class, and now you're on a Fight Pass prelim. It's weird. It's just weird just how people's... I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, now that I mention it, like, okay, Elijah Zaleski dos Santos, okay, whatever. He's on the Fight Pass prelim, despite the fact that he's amazing and everybody should love him. Hector Lombard and like Tyler Slatus fought for the title.
Right.
I think he fought in the main event against Michael Bisping on like Fight Pass before. And Hector Lombard has been on TV for like how many years now? And for how many pay-per-views? Like,
right.
Why are they not even the main event on a Fight Pass prelim?
Yeah, like the placement was kind of weird.
Tyler Slatus is retiring. Like, yeah, he's not from Sao Paulo, but the card's in Brazil.
Right, and you put the man on a...
You put the man on, like, on the third fight on the card when no one's in the building.
Like, you could have threw him... No, yeah, he could have took at least one of the Fox Sports 2 prelim spots, at least. He could have took one of those, but... Oh, something happened. I can't hear you. I can hear you sound really low.
Crap.
There we go. Now I hear you.
Like, all respect to Chase Sherman and Augusto Sakai and Ryan Spann and Luis Enrique, but, like, Leites and Lombard probably should have been on TV over them. Matter of fact, they should have been over them, over Randall Marcos and Marino Rodriguez as well. Like, it's really weird.
But I honestly don't remember this fight in a ton of detail other than I remember Hector Lombard landing that leg kick to like the side of his knee, and at one point the camera like shows like the side of Laces' knee, and it looked like it looked like a head was growing out of like his leg. It was really disturbing.
Yeah, that was weird because when I tuned, like I hadn't watched that. I wasn't watching it live. Like I was kind of doing something else at the time, so I kind of glanced over at the fight, and I looked down, and it's like there was like it looked like a head was popping out of his trunks, like he was giving birth or something. I'm just like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it was strange. But then Lombard, he got bloodied up. I think he caught a couple
Yeah, in
straights.
typical Lombard
His-
fashion.
his eye was going through it. That eye was going through it.
So like Lombard is still like this amazing athlete, right? Because he's super explosive and shit. Like what? I don't feel like the Lombard of 5 years ago would be losing fights like this. So what's the deal?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like he. The thing is, like earlier in his career, he was the blitz you, throw 1,000, throw 1,000 punches. I'm gonna get you out of there. And in Bellator, he got away with that because people just nobody could keep up with his power or his athleticism. You get to the UFC, competition level raises. Can't kind of fight like that anymore. So I feel like I don't know, like he tried to like adjust his game because it wasn't working anymore, but like he never fully found his footing. Like I don't know.
It's just weird. Maybe he can't take a punch like he used to, but like I feel like he should be winning at least a little bit more than he actually is, which is not at all. Like this is his 6th loss in a row.
Jesus.
Mind you, one of them was because he hit CB Dalloway after the bell. But like you lose to Johnny Hendricks. In all fairness, that was like the last good performance of Johnny Hendricks' career. Maybe, which might be reborn in like the bare knuckle fighting league, but it's just odd. Like, in the way he loses, like he either goes out there and like gasses in the third or in the second and third round, like he did here, or like he did against Neil Magny or Anthony Smith, or it's just completely freaking bizarre. Like he gets back elbowed by friggin' Dan Henderson, or disqualified fighting CB Dalloway.
Yeah, he's. What is it with these Bellator guys and these strange just career trajectories? Like, I feel like him and Will Brooks just had like the weirdest UFC
You
careers.
spend your career fighting in the American casinos, and all of a sudden you got
Yeah, dude. But, these Talis latest, he ended his career with a win. So shout outs to him. Like I said, pretty consistent middleweight throughout the years. Even found his way into a title shot. And then kind of had like a mini resurgence, I would say, and kept himself relevant. Another guy who, for all intents and purposes, kept afloat during like multiple eras.
he almost beat Bisbing.
Yeah, and I'm a Bisbing fan, and that fight was nervously close for me. Fight was way too close. But yeah, man, dude was a stud for a long time. So shout outs to him. Best of luck in his post fight career. His next fight, man, I'm really excited about these next 2 fights. Both of these fights made me really happy. Zaleski dos Santos and Luigi Vendramini. Luigi replaced Bilal Muhammad. Came in on very short notice. Had a decent first round. He managed to take Zaleski's back. Tried to sink in a rear naked choke. Couldn't get it quite in under the chin. After that, Zaleski did a lot of Zaleski things. Flashy kicks. Yeah, you know what Zaleski does if you watched him fight before. The ending sequence was kind of bizarre because Luigi like threw like a leg kick, and I don't know if like he just landed awkward or something, but it looked like he like hurt himself, and he started to like back up, and Zaleski realized he was hurt, and he went in and landed a flying knee on poor Luigi, and followed that up with like a right hand, and like Luigi's leg like buckled backwards, and you know when the leg buckles backwards, you normally don't come back from that. And yeah, he got the finish. I didn't hear it. I saw people saying he called out Robbie Lawler in the post fight.
Oh, he did.
So hey man, I mean even if it's not Robbie, I think at this point Zaleski's performance kind of warrant, like, he's another guy, like, you know, Usman was a guy in that pack who was kind of making his way up, trying to get a big fight. I think Zaleski's now in like that similar position to where like his performances have been impressive enough that I think it's about time we give him one of those names and let's see what he can do.
The man is out here just gathering up bonuses. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. He stopped half his opponents. He stopped Sean Strickland, 6'12" Sean Strickland with a spinning hook kick to the head. Like, what do you need to put this man on TV?
Right. Like, this flying knee, like, way more people should have saw this. And you stash him on the second fight of a Fight Pass prelim.
Yeah.
When, like, the only people in the arena are, like, the cornermen and, like, the concession stand.
He climbed the cage after the fight and looked around. And you can see, like, the moment he realized there's nobody there to see the fight.
Right. Yeah. But hopefully, hopefully this turns some heads, and hopefully they you know get this man his respect, and the next time we see him, he needs to be on a main card somewhere.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Looking at this first fight, or the last fight we're going to talk about, it just struck me. This card was constructed hella weird. And I get why, because it was literally pasted together from the remnants of literally every fight on it falling apart. Like, Ryan Spann is only here because Mark Godbeard couldn't make it. Luigi Vendramini is replacing Bilal Muhammad. Neil Magny was supposed to be in the co-main event. Like, two whole fights got scrapped. Like, Ketlin Vieira was supposed to fight Tanya Enverger. Antonio Carlos Jr. was supposed to fight Elias Theodorou.
That fight got pushed back like 3 times.
But at the same time, like, you have, like, this card, and it's not a terrible card for Fight Night, but, like, you do a little bit of rearranging, and you put some of these you mix and match with these opponents a little better, because in the opener for tonight, we had Livia Renata Souza, for those who don't know, who was the Invicta FC strawweight champion, fighting Alex Chambers, who is, like, I want to say who was entering this fight 1-3 in the UFC. Like, I respect the crap out of Alex Chambers, but she is not good. Why didn't she get Marina? Why didn't they match her up with Marina Rodriguez and do Livia Renata Souza versus Randa Marcos?
I don't know. Maybe they, Livia in the backyard. Maybe they just wanted to ensure, like, this is a guaranteed W. Like, if
that's the case, she should have been on TV, and they should have been on Fight.
They're like, I won't harp on the UFC too much in terms of, like, this card went through a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
So,
I get it. But, like,
they patched it. Yeah, but my problem wasn't the matchups. Yeah, it was just, like, the arrangement of fights. Like, some of these fights, just where they were placed didn't make sense. Like, we said, like, Zaleski should not be on Fight Pass prelims. At worst, he should have maybe, like, headlined the Fox Sports prelims at least. Yeah, like, the ordering of these fights was just kind of out of whack. Like it was like somebody just kind of.
I mean, the timing of them was weird too, because like, why did they start at 8:30 and 10:30 Eastern time?
I think it was because of college
Ew.
football. I think so. Cause yeah, cause it was weird because the card was on. I can't remember what teams were playing, but yeah, there was a football game on, and it was still the fourth quarter, and it was like 10 o'clock. Something weird like that. I think that's why I started at 10:30. But no, Hanato Souza though blasted Alex Chambers like straight out the gate. Caught her with a right hand, backed her up, swarmed
Took her
her
down, got on top, got the guillotine.
Guillotined, and just and like if you guys don't know, Hanato Souza has been over in Invicta prior to this for a while, putting in work. Her only loss was in Invicta was a split decision to Angela Hill, which was a very close fight. She's a beast, man. She has taken some souls. What's her name? Was it Hamasaki?
Ayaka Hamasaki.
Yeah. Put her out. Like
out.
Like it was bad. It was bad. I've been waiting for Souza to come over. I'm glad she's finally here, and she definitely made a good first impression. So I'm definitely looking forward to like how they match her up, and just seeing what she does in the future, man. Cause she's really really talented. So shout outs to her. And that was UFC Sao Paulo. Pretty, like I said, pretty solid card. They had to do a lot of patchwork just to keep this card intact. So, like, all things considered, it was pretty good, man.
It's probably the best Brazil fight that we had in a minute.
And you got signs, but I mean, you got people like Souza, a new face to look out for. Even though he was stashed on the prelim, just further proof of Zaleski just being awesome, and hopefully that'll lead to him getting better placement on these cards.
He should just be boring. I mean, don't think about it. It worked for Sam Alvey.
Just his next fight, Wallenstall.
Exactly.
We saw the end of some careers. Had some retirements going on. We saw, I don't even know if Nog is an old lion. Is there something older than that? I don't know.
Hey, Alexei Olenek is still out here at 50 years old.
We saw legends out here come out and get W's. We saw Cowboy do Cowboy things. So, and the main event, which got flipped and flopped 30 different times and still turned out to be pretty awesome.
I mean, if we're being real, this was a better fight than what was going to be the original main event. Like, did you really want to see Jimmy Manuel versus Glover Teixeira?
Yeah, we didn't know.
That was just,
a couple years ago, that would have been great.
That was just mean.
Yeah, but pretty good card though. Like, and this rounded out what was a pretty good just overall weekend of really good fights. Like between this one Bellator, Joshua fight, pretty sure LFA's card was pretty good. Just really good weekend stretch of fights. So if you did not get a chance to catch any of these, go back, watch some highlights, catch some of these fights. Definitely entertaining. Lots of finishes to go around. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the fights. We covered a lot. We're almost at 3 hours. It's about 2 hours and 48 minutes. But we had a lot to cover. It was a lot to get through because a lot of just news happened since the last time we recorded. But yeah, that's it for the fights. So we will move on to closing with parting shots and shout-outs. I feel like I had a shout-out, and now I don't remember who I wanted to shout-out. And I don't want to not shout-out anybody. I don't know. Shout-out to Tiger Woods. He won a tournament today. Shout out to the Detroit Lions who just beat the Patriots 26-10.
Well, don't the Patriots suck now that their steroid guy is gone?
I mean, they're still the Patriots though. No, the Lions are terrible though. Like the Lions are god awful. So shout outs to the Detroit Lions for beating the. I feel like there was somebody else. I'm definitely missing somebody. I saw something earlier. This year, some years ago, BJ Penn beat Matt Hughes for the welterweight title. Shout outs to BJ Penn. I guess.
All people we made fun of in this episode.
Right. and just to reiterate, just rest in peace, man, to Kid Yamamoto. This is gonna hurt me for a while. I just go back and watch his highlights, and it makes me sad, but happy because he was awesome. But just shout outs to him. You know, condolences to his family and friends and loved ones. Just go watch some kid fights this weekend, or well, the weekend will be over by the time you guys hear this. But just go watch some kid fights, man. You'll have a good time.
For real.
And shout outs to the Rising card that'll be coming soon. I forgot what day. Was that in a couple hours?
That is on the Rising card will be on September 30th, and it'll be available on Fight TV.
Okay.
I think it'll be like $15-20. Speaking of which, Hamasaki's gonna be fighting on that card. So, small world.
God,
just a whole bunch of stitchbacks.
God, I'll let you go. I had a shout out. It just came to me and I can. So I gotta.
Not so much a shout out, but rest in peace again, Kid Yamamoto, and also rest in peace to Glenn Robinson, the founder or one of the founders of the Black Zillions, which no longer exists, but he passed away this week as well. Some of you might remember him from the Tough season of was it Tough Black Zillions? So rest in peace to him. And not a shout out, or again, not a shout out or a shot, but prayers for the Ray Borg and his family. He just tweeted out that his newborn is going to be heading in for his 4th surgery. The stunt that they had in his brain didn't hold, so I hope everything turns out right there.
Yeah, definitely best of luck to him. Okay, yeah, now I remember my shout out. It was just not sports related, that's why I couldn't remember it. Shout outs to all the great albums that have come out lately. In specific, No Name, Room 25, and Lupe Fiasco, Droga's Waves. 2 really, 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 really awesome projects that if you're a hip hop fan, you should listen to. And I will be reviewing them very soon. I actually just wrote the reviews both today. So I'll probably be recording those tomorrow, which means by the time you guys hear this, they probably will already have been recorded. One of them will probably already be out. But shout outs to those 2. Really, really good music. But yeah, that's all I got. All we got for the week. I don't think there's a UFC card this weekend, but Bellator is this weekend.
On the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your DAZN subscription, you can get your free 30-day trial, which I still need to do. So sign up for DAZN, do the free trial, so you can watch the Bellator card upcoming, which is actually a pretty good card, and this kicks off the welterweight tournament, which is honestly like pretty exciting, man. Like I like. I mean, I know Bellator's done it in the past, but I like this welterweight tournament. Lots of good fights, lots of good matchups, and I mean, in this card, Gegard Mousasi, Roy McDonald. I know I rag on the old guys, but you know, if that's your thing, Rampage and Vanderlei for the 80th time, Lehman Koreshkov, Aaron Pico and Leandro Higo, Karayan, Taylor Melendez is fighting. Lots of good stuff is going on this card. Amber Labrock is on this card. Gaston Bolanos is. There's a lot of good going on this card. Definitely one worth watching. So if you have not signed up for the zone yet, I'm included in that boat. Go ahead, do the 30-day trial because you don't want to miss this card. It looks like this will be pretty fun and good happenings going on. But that's all we got for today. This has been another episode of the Dojo Talk Podcast. As always, you can listen to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. You're on iTunes. Please rate, subscribe, and leave a review. Check us out at the Dojo Talk Facebook page. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at SerialSensei. And as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And we will catch you guys soon.